Right after I took down Draisaitl. Draisaitl was too happy about it. See if we can what that was. Well, ladies and gentlemen, as I'm looking in between the Florida Panthers and the Boston Bruins, I saw it a little bit in the first intermission, and I said, I can't believe this fan base is worried. Now that I look at it, it's a 6-1 sign with a minute 30 left, and you already had a fight between Tkachuk and Pasta. So things are going to get a little spicy. We'll check back end of that series on Friday. I should have Cooper Hopkins with me today, so this will be big. It'll be both of us out of retirement here. So for the Edmonton Oilers, let's get into it now because it'll be puck drop in a few minutes. It is 49-27-6. Connor McDavid, Mattias Janmark, Zach Hyman, Mattias Ekholm, and Evan Bouchard. Leon Draisaitl, Ryan Nugent-Hopkins, Evander Kane, Darnell Nurse, Cody Ceci, Ryan McLeod, Dylan Holloway, Corey Perry, Derek Ryan, Warren Fogle, Connor Brown. It'll be Brett Kulak and Vincent Desharnais for Kris Knoblauch squad. Stuart Skinner should be the goaltender of record. And for the Vancouver Canucks, head coached by Rick Tocchet, like this, 50-23-9. JT Miller, Pius Suter, Brock Boeser, Quinn Hughes, Filip, Hronek, Elias Pettersson, Niels Hoglander, Ilya Mikheyev, Carson Soucy, Tyler Myers, Elias Lindholm, Dakota Joshua, Connor Garland, Teddy Blueger, Philip DiGiuseppe, Sam Lafferty, Nikita Zadorov, Ian Cole, and Arturs Silovs should be the goaltender of record. So let's tell you how we got here, in the sense, and I'll go up on the notes side of it. First round victory for both Vancouver and Edmonton, 4-2 over Nashville for the Canucks, and 4-1 over LA for a third straight year for Edmonton. Who's hot leading into this series? Brock Boeser, 4 goals, 2 assists, 6 points. JT Miller, 1 goal plus 3. Connor McDavid only has 1 goal in that previous series, but he had 11 assists. 1 goal, 11 assists, 12 points plus 3. Leon Draisaitl, 5-5-10. Evan Bouchard, 1-8-9 plus 3. Zach Hyman, 7 goals with 1 assist, 8 points plus 4. Breakout, the rest of Vancouver maybe. That's what they need. Filip, Hronek, and Niels Hoglander have no points in 6 games and are a -2. I feel like this series is going to be faster paced than the first round opponents in between the Predators and the Kings respectively. So here's the situation. It's going to be faster paced. There's going to be more goals. Maybe not the quite extent of what we saw between Dallas and Colorado in that series so far. But if Vancouver struggles for offense and Silovs gets worked a little bit, there could be a pathway for Vancouver where it's going to get difficult. As it stands in this first game of the second round, before I'm jumped in by Cooper Hopkins here, I'm leaning at X, but I also Vancouver gets back to the regular season production, then Skinner can't afford to be hot and cold either. We all know about the power play numbers. That's going to be key. Arturs Silovs in his 3 games, 2-1-0, 169 goals, 938 save percentage. Stuart Skinner, 4-1 with a 258 goals against, 910 save percentage, and a shutout as well. So it's going to be big as far as these offense. We expect a little bit of a resurgence for the Canucks. Same thing for the Oilers. I'm hoping that the Canucks can get closer to what they were in the regular season, and then that styles and fights between Edmonton is kind of more battle. They're going to need that because one of these teams in this all-Canadian matchup, they're going to go to the Western Conference Finals. So a date's already done for one of these teams. We'll see who's going to get it. I'm going to get Cooper Hopkins in here right now. It's going to be interesting, both of us on this broadcast. And in a sense, we worked a lot of games together, but in a sense, for Cooper and I, both of us on a broadcast for teams that necessarily are not our favorites. But what do you see? This is an interesting series between Edmonton and Vancouver.
Yeah, it certainly is, John. And you know what? It's just to kick us off, it's good to be jumping in when you and Alec work together. But you know what? This is bringing a smile to my face. It's the old Cooper and John show tonight. Or should I say John and Cooper show, because we know you're always leading the way with your hockey knowledge and your skills. But your setup was exactly what I was thinking. And I will say this, Brett. I have a very specific take, which Canadian fans of their beloved sport of hockey probably won't love. It might even surprise you. John, we known each other for a little while, but I unfortunately can be petty at times.
Sure.
And after, now what was 20 years ago, a run to Game 7 of the Stanley Cup Final ultimately ended up in defeat to the Tampa Bay Lightning, which we've gone over many times, and is well known to Canadian fans. At that time, the Flames, in that run to the Stanley Cup Final, were quote-unquote Canada's team, right? And this year, the Winnipeg Jets have fallen away. Now we have this very special and rare series, only the third time
Right.
Vancouver. I believe the last one was in the early 90s. And so here we go. We have Oilers-Canucks. But my pettiness will be begrudging about who moves on
Sure.
in this series because, John, I got so first Canadian team since the Canadians to win the Stanley Cup. And it's seared onto my heart. Flames to win as a Canadian team to win the Stanley Cup next. So this actually makes me I think it makes me a perfect commentator for the series because no matter what happens, even if it's the Flames rival the Oilers or on their other side, going to the West, their rival the Canucks, ultimately comes out of the series to fall in the Western Conference Finals. That maybe not what people would have expected, but I think we've got a great matchup here, and I'm curious to know what details you've already touched on and what you're thinking might come out of the series and represent Western Conference as one of the two teams in the final.
So once we get to a stoppage, I'll go ahead and get into some of that. Right now, we got an immediate Edmonton power play. Too many men on the ice. Joshua trying to get this one out. And now Edmonton will start again with Evan Bouchard. You got Connor McDavid near the right circle. This is a good steal. This is a shorthanded opportunity. And we'll go ahead and take a wrister. This is saved down in front of Stuart Skinner. And now picked up for Edmonton for RNH. It'll be Leon Draisaitl. Power move toward the net. Good save there for Silovs. He's been an incredible story for the Vancouver Canucks. Connor McDavid now, right circle. As he's patient, drop for RNH near the right side red line. McDavid, get this now for Draisaitl. He continues to be patient. Pretty much have that box in there for Vancouver. Here's a pass across. And what a clinical start for Edmonton.
John, we got some important stuff going on here. This is big time, and I apologize for stepping all over the top of this game. I had to get my narrative, but now we are into the series and fully, and we see what the Oilers can do here. This is exciting stuff right off the bat.
Zach Hyman from RNH, and that's about as easy as it gets. They talk about Zach Hyman here and there and say all of his goals are tap-ins. It's just pop. I don't want to hear any of that stuff right now. You got to finish when you're there. You get the passes there. That's what Edmonton does. If you're Vancouver, you start this series with too many men on the ice, you're going to pay for it.
Yeah, no question about it. Not where Vancouver wants to be right here, and exactly what Edmonton wants to be. That's what Hyman does. I agree with you, my friend. He gets the job done when needed. He gets the first goal of this series. It's a huge one.
So I want to say in my opening remarks, until we get a little anything crazy, then I'll jump back in. But I saw Filip does not have any points in this series. That's someone that they're going to need to really help. Again, we already talked about, and you and I are thinking this, even though we didn't mention it yet. Power plays are going to be key. Well, Vancouver already made the first mistake, and Edmonton is already on the board. Now, as it said, in between Dallas and then me in Colorado, between both the conference finals. No disrespect to Edmonton and Vancouver, but you and I both kind of lean one way. I'm the same way as you. I still have the pettiness of Ken Holland when he left the Red Wings high and dry to go to McDavid and Draisaitl. So I'm not having much success. I'm only slightly leaning Vancouver because of the former Flames and Silovs.
Yeah, I think you make a great point. I enjoyed watching Zadorov in particular, and of course Lindholm is a contributor as well now on the forward side of things for Vancouver. But yeah, it's going to be an interesting series for those two guys as well. They would have missed it otherwise.
Yes, it would. So we'll figure out what's going to go on with this series, and Cooper and I will get in the play-by-play and work things around. We also be able to detail through the intermission. Here's an opportunity for Pius Suter, former Red Wing. Again, that one goes off the top right side of the bar. as this is now good forecheck for Vancouver. There's a stretch pass near the right side. Doc, good stick in the lane. Again for Mattias Ekholm. He has been part of that shutdown pair with Evan Bouchard under the tutelage of Paul Coffey. As this goes around the end boards now. Slowed down here for Cole as Rick Tocchet's squad will take a change. Again, I'm interested to see whether or not Vancouver can find their offense. Kind of shut down a little bit against Nashville. LA Kings, an interesting matchup. Lambs of the slaughter there for the LA Kings versus to Edmonton. Now they got to prove they can beat somebody else as this goes down near the right side boards. Cody's step up and around the end boards now as this is knocked away from Quinn Hughes. Good forecheck there for Edmonton for a moment. Here's a break. Vancouver back in. Oh, what a stop by Skinner. He lost his stick. And then a thunderous hit the other way. And now the fans are really into this, and maybe so am I for a moment, as this will rush down near the right side and dumped in. What did we just see there, Cooper?
Wow, a really amazing start, John. And I'll admit this has been the case a couple of times where I'm a few seconds behind you, so I got to see that thing after your excellent call, and you were right on. Amazing right pad save by Skinner. Should be 1-1 right now, and then a huge hit. We now have some playoff hockey. Let's go.
Yes. Now Edmonton, here's a touch pass. Again, I am using the ESPN feed because Sportsnet, I think, would be even a little bit more ahead. McCann off the drop. And now Vancouver will jump in with Nikita Zadorov. Not used to him wearing that jersey number, as this is put it around the end board. It's a lot more hits than I would have thought so far. Here's a sniper in the left side glass. This will be kept in. Zadorov, he'll absorb a hit. As this has worked nicely and behind the net, Vancouver trying to get a long wrister. And Skinner very busy. Here's the bomb. This one gets blocked down in front, and one of the Oilers has to go pick up a stick. It's not out of the zone yet. Here's for one of the late arriving Vancouver Canucks and Filip Giuseppe. He gets hit the boards, and this one's sent down, plugged out of the air. And now the Rogers Arena crowd, I think, is even a little bit more excited than even as expected, even though they're down one, because it's been a good start to this game. Back in behind the cage, we'll get all set. Edmonton will go ahead and find the pressure, as this will be cool. Now Warren Fogle will send this around the kick plate. Evan Bouchard into the traffic. It'll bounce right back to him. And now near the right side boards, it will be Teddy Bluger, former Vegas Golden Knight. He's been around a little bit everywhere for Teddy, and he's on a good squad. There's this one sent in for Quinn Hughes. Quinn Hughes will take this one. Giuseppe tries to get it out. Bouchard will get it ahead. Down in front of the circles. Now near the right side. Edmonton, unrelenting. Draisaitl. He'll work his way into the left side red line off the drop. There's a spin for Warren Fogle. Interesting line combinations. Fogle takes a rip. This one hits the netting.
So, John, we have a really heart-pounding start here. The Canucks had some great zone time, and of course, Canucks look like they are game for this. No pun intended. They look like they're ready to bounce back. And again, really should be 1-1 if not for Skinner. What an amazing save.
Yes, it was. And again, Cooper, this is just honest to the commercial. How the heck are you doing, my friend? It's been a while.
It has been a while, and remarks for our first break here. But of course, I was so excited. Everything started rolling off the tongue. So thank you for being patient with me as we got into the first portion of this period. But it's good to be back. Working one-on-one, John. And I know you've got some experience. You got some championship experience under your belt.
I did.
And I'm very excited. Things.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Actually, we do have a celebration planned for Wednesday, so I'll meet up with the rest of the team. I know you and I have a lot to talk about. I do have the text that I sent you. I put that on long form for an email, so we can discuss a little bit in the first intermission, maybe whether or not you think those are a good idea or a bad idea, because I did put the Space Needle on there and a few other ones. I need to know if those are good ideas or bad ideas.
Hey, you know what? You can't miss the classics, my friend. There's if you're gonna make the trek to the Great Northwest and to the Puget Sound area, yeah, you gotta get in. Space Needle action. We gotta market, and there's plenty to see. maybe I can offer an idea or two for maybe a hidden gem. But you gotta play the hits, as they say.
Okay.
So I think you're already on the right track.
All right, that's what I was hoping for. Again, we'll go through some of that during the intermission. Also want to talk about the rest of the series as well that we have, because I just want to say this openly and honest to Florida Panthers fans. I'm not sure why you panicked, because I saw Boston take the series is already over, and then I look on the scoreboard, oh, by the way, 6-1 Florida.
Yeah, I love it. And I love, you know what, reading the headlines the next day after Boston took care of Florida in game 1 in that series, and it was all, the huge adjectives. Smashes Florida, and then guess what happens? The Blues come right back, and they beat them by one more than they lost. So it's really interesting. This pendulum swinging back and forth already. We're only 2 games into that series, and we got to point to. I'm going to do it all night. Former Flame Matthew Tkachuk that we could have all predicted that, other than if you're a Panthers fan apparently, that the Panthers would have bounced back.
Sure.
Maybe no one expected it to be this margin. Looks to be a 7-game series on our hands.
And are you telling me we're already getting fists flying between Tkachuk and Pasta? Are you kidding me?
Let's go. It's playoff time, and this is a Florida team that wants to get back to the promised land and then bring that trophy home, and I think they may have the horses to do it.
Yeah, again, we've talked about that. We'll mention that more in the intermission. To not throw shade at Cooper, because I know Alec and Cooper are both picking the Dallas Stars, but I do want to mention what the Colorado Avalanche last night. I think I'll just save the remarks. I was a little bit excited. It's kind of weird saying that as a diehard Red Wings fan, but again, we like watching pretty good teams and pretty good hockey. This is near the right side. We'll see now if Vancouver can make something happen off it. Behind the net pass, could hit Dakota Joshua. And now Cece and Nurse. This one will get sent in. Silovs will glove it, take no chances. And now we get some pushing and shoving in front of the net. Evander Kane's going to mix it up. That's no surprise. But now they're really starting to throw fists. It's Kane and Zadorov.
Those are 2 names that I'm not surprised we're getting a little extracurricular here, John, because they've met each other before. Again, I don't mean to make this the refrain of the evening, but it's been in their tenure as a Flame for Zadorov, and then, of course, as an Oiler, still an Oiler for Kane. Now just happen to be wearing different jersey colors if you're Nikita, but man, oh man, this could get heated real quickly.
Yeah, you want to mess around with guys like Nikita Zadorov and Evander Kane. As they're showing Canucks goalies in the first round, you went from Thatcher to Casey DeSmith, Silovs 4, 5, and 6. Again, he's only played 3 playoff games. Really, I think maybe 3 regular season games as well. He's already got a shutout. Casey DeSmith will be the backup. And Thatcher Demko, from what I'm aware of, is Elias Lindholm's getting set to take the draw here. He made the 3rd round, but that's an if, as this is now the right side. Zadorov to make the outstretched pass across the Canucks logo. I believe that is an Orca, as this is near the left side. This will be played, and Skinner is got.
And I will simply say, John, you are correct. That is the now classic Vancouver killer whale. There you go.
Can I say honestly, even though it's not our favorite teams, I actually.
Yeah, I think it makes much more sense. And listen, as a Northwest kid, I've been fortunate to see some of those in the wild, and yeah, it really represents that area of the world, and it looks great on their sweaters. So thumbs up to Vancouver. I think they made that change right around 2000. But yeah, it's been a classic.
Interesting black and yellow kind of font Vancouver Canucks ones. I'm not really fond of the old school Canucks logo.
Yeah, that's the old flying logo, which is sort of ironically kind of alternate Flames colors. So I think we need to leave the red, black, and yellow to the.
Now near the right side, dot off the spin and turn. Good puck. Here's the opportunity. Ekholm actually tried to snipe that near the left side post as Silovs was ready for it. Now Hyman off the spin, trying to get things going here as this is spun back for McDavid. Good dancing here for Edmonton. This is tight quarters near the right side boards. And now there could be a penalty maybe, but it's McDavid and behind the cage. The ref's right on top of it. There was all sorts of collisions. Here's a cross. This goes up the outside of the cage. And Edmonton is really getting pushing and shoving now with Evan Bouchard. He's the expected here, but maybe in this all-Canadian matchup, we're going to get some fireworks.
Yeah, you know what, John? You took the thought right out of my brain. I think that there are going to be sort of gloves off mentality here for these teams. I think there's so much at stake, not only for each of these players personally, but as members of their teams. But I do have to believe they know the market that they play in, that this matters more than it has in a long time. Edmonton and Vancouver with a lot of here in the playoffs.
I mean, I know this is the easiest thing to say in the world, but I mean, this is a spot for the Western Conference Finals, and Canada is guaranteed a team.
Yeah, it's huge. It's absolutely huge. And you know what? You don't want to be the team that lets your fan base down, right? Canada has been so, it's been a desert. They're so thirsty for any kind of. That's part of why Toronto always gets so much heat for their failures. But I know we're back to the play-by-play here. Plenty of time to talk. Vancouver tries to even this thing. Edmonton had 6 shots, though, John. Just the one official shot for Vancouver.
Yeah, right now, as we talked about through the play-by-play, it's been a lot of in-tight play for the Edmonton Oilers and pretty good work in behind the net. Vancouver's got to change this. Again, for Rick Tocchet going into it, he's a team that he knows what he's got, but it's normally Thatcher Demko behind him, but Silovs has been excellent. That they will give up a lot of shots and then get the counter-attack going. I don't know if you can afford to do that against the Edmonton Oilers, because if you're not on the front foot, they could absolutely bury you. Dylan Holloway will try to send this around the end boards. And Nikita's lining as a forward as Ian Cole finds the entry. We'll put it on the left side wall. Be an opportunity now for Giuseppe. I'm seeing a lot of fourth line time for Vancouver as this goes back and around the end boards. And Pettersson, they show him 6 games played, no goals. I think he might be battling a little bit of an injury. At least I have to think that, because so Zadorov, he's going to take a big-time break here and behind the cages. He's getting a ton of camera time. I like to see that. 9:25 with you alongside Cooper Hopkins. The duo is back in business here as this is sent back around. This will be picked up now near the right sideboards. And flip back in. Hronek now. We'll flip this one down as Draisaitl was trying to go ahead and get some of that pressure. Now Bouchard off the pickup. And this will be sent for Draisaitl. And across the Orca, it's Bouchard. We'll slow up. Flip this back in around the end boards. Evander Kane. He gets hit by Kraken. As this goes now right in around the end boards here. Stolen by Vancouver. It's Carson Soucy. Go ahead and flip one in near the right side as the glass continues to reverberate across Rogers Arena. This has been a very physical game so far as well, as this one's flipped in. Now on the left side, red line. And off the end boards now, Evander Kane, Quinn Hughes. I'll make it Cooper Hopkins back in here right now. As it's 8:20 left to go in the first. And the spin here for RNH. Forwards will take a change. Connor McDavid, not double shifted quite yet, but he's already spending more time out there. And Edmonton taking their sweet time and looks of a breakout. This is going to be an easy steal. And then try to get picked back up now for RNH. Now Hronek, they'll get hit pretty hard near the left side boards. It's JT Miller. Drop. They just keep it in. Goes back to JT. Here's a great cross. Slap shot. This one just is the left side of the net. Zadorov able to pinch in. As Vancouver will spin it around. Good touch pass and a backhand to an Vancouver trying to funnel it toward the net right now. As this will be chipped in deep. We'll see who picks it up now. It's Miller. Still trying to dance here. Lead it for number 91, Nikita Zadorov. We'll put this back around for JT. And now push again for Vancouver. And near the right side red line. And Edmonton will get. This will be iced.
Yeah, John, you know what? It needs to be mentioned right now that Vancouver has really settled in here. I like what I'm seeing from them. Extended periods of zone time. We've seen 2 or 3 nice ozone stays for the Canucks, and they look to have really settled in here. Obviously, Edmonton tallied. There's a hill to climb for Vancouver, but as you mentioned earlier, the fans are well. Face-off here is won by the Canucks. And I think I may be a second or 2 ahead of you now after I refresh my browser. But I'll let you get back into the play-by-play as Vancouver's in.
That sounds good to me. As this goes down near the right side, here's a slap. And right in off the traffic, we'll get some more pushing and shoving. But again, let's go into it. Cooper on this side, because let's look at what happened in the season series. Again, you had the first two meetings, and that is under Jay Woodcroft, and Vancouver can say, hey, we scored a ton of goals against Edmonton. Well, Edmonton's not the same team that pretty much started 1-10. Those were at the beginning of the year.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And it's just a different world now. These teams are here for a reason. I think both you and I thought somewhere around this spot at this time of the season and now into the playoffs. And yeah, there have been roster changes, there have been coaching changes, there's been changes in the style of play, and those have been the right moves. And they're here to compete to be the. I just love it. There's so much on the line.
There is, and again, I'm looking at Elias. As I mentioned, the no goals in 6 games. He's got to be fighting something, but right now in the postseason, he's got 3 assists and is a -2. I understand the Canucks are a really good team across, but let's say Elias Pettersson gets 2 or 3 goals in this series, and let's just cap it out at that. Is that enough to beat the Edmonton Oilers?
Yeah, listen, I think that's about as close to a hypothetical question as you can get.
Sure.
It's probably not enough, and that more from, and dare I say, players like Nikita Zadorov. And I only point it out, not expecting him to go off for 7 or 8 goals in the series, but there might need to be players who are going to make up for that lack of production, right? Tally once or twice more than you normally expect them to. That's going to be what's needed from Vancouver.
No, you're right, because I'm looking at guys like Boeser, again, about 6 points. Some of the stuff looks pretty good, but yeah, you need that. And I would argue even more so, even with Elias since that trade, their defense effort is go ahead and beat Edmonton as well.
Yep, absolutely right. We're getting a span shot across the Vancouver bench right here, and these players are looking to get back here before the time runs out in the first period. Got 7 minutes or so left here in the first. John, I'll let you get back into it and see what happens.
So Hronek, I'll put this in around the inboards again. I mentioned him. He doesn't have any points in this series and is a -3. He's on that top pair, and he will be for years to come. One of the very best, as this is a long shot stop by the right pad of Silovs. Now, Hronek again will make the breakout right to left. There will be a flip here. It's the dark blue jerseys with the greenish tint and orange for the Edmonton Oilers. They're on the road. Again, if they can try to steal one of these, Edmonton, you would think that they would be in good shape. I would have to imagine most fans are probably picking Edmonton to win this series. But it really is up to Vancouver to find their offense again, because when you play between Nashville and Edmonton, different style, and they're going to have to score some goals as they go off sides.
Yeah, John, I'm just taking a look here at some of the replay package, Kris. You can see that the hitting has really already been turned up. There haven't been too many for the last couple of shifts, but Hughes, he's been the recipient of a couple of tough hits that come from Evander Kane, so we'll keep our eyes on that. 12 hits for the Oilers right now, 10 for the Canucks. We can expect those numbers to jump up as we continue here.
Yeah, as you said, some of them come from Kane. The last one I actually saw from Hyman, and that's what was very slow to get up there, was Quinn Hughes. And if Zach Hyman's doing that, he's already scoring goals. Look out. His assist is now dumped in. There'll be an opportunity for DiGiuseppe against Cece. Again, it's a lot of bottoms for Rick Tocchet's squad, so he's really trying to roll all 4 lines. I'm not saying it's the wrong thing to do here. You got to keep everybody fresh, but I wonder if this is just game 1. How things will continue to change. Again, every other series has gotten underway except for this one. And this one is flipped back down the ice. And this is going to be waved off. Edmonton was trying to lollygag as much as they could to try to get a call. Corey Perry now will get back into the players' bench. And Darnell Nurse, he's going to get cascaded with booze. Imagine he does get cascaded with booze quite a lot. As this is intercepted for Ian Cole. Good stick work. We'll have this now between the left side red line. We'll see if anybody can run a line change. We got Zadorov back out there already. As it's now Evander Kane. We'll put this to the blue paint. The clearing attempt goes right back to Edmonton. Here's a slap, and this goes in. My goodness.
John, I got to be honest. I don't know what just happened. Defensive all out of sorts. They tried to clear the puck out from the slot area by pinballing it off of the end boards. It went right to an Oiler.
Yes.
He sets up his man in the slapper from about 2/3 of the way to the blue line, and that one is a seeing eye shot to make it 2-0. I'm shocked here.
Yeah, why does Vancouver, you got Ian Cole there, clear it backwards into his own end, and that essentially off the pass back allows the former Predator, Mattias Ekholm, to unleash the bomb. You got to clear it the other way.
I think the only explanation there is that I don't believe that Cole thought he had any ties. He thought he may have been just about to be checked or dispossessed. He got rid of that puck like it was like lava was all over that thing, and then that results in the carom directly to the Oilers, and then that was a triple screen in front of Silovs right there. Nothing to do about it. He was just trying to get a view of the thing, and now it's 2-0.
Look, you said it right, Cooper, but I'm just going to say this as the devil's advocate side. You have one too many men penalty on the ice that results in a power play goal for Hyman. And you're right. Again, they're in front. It couldn't be safe for Silovs, but Ian Cole, he got rid of it quickly. That goes in the back of the net. Right now, it's 2 mistakes to me. Edmonton takes advantage of both. That's why they're up by a pair.
Yeah, I find it interesting, and you made such an excellent point talking about, okay, if Vancouver is going to have their expected point producers underperform, okay, what we talked about, what needs to happen in order for the Canucks to be able to tip the tables back either to even or potentially even in their favor. A proposition against a team like Edmonton. You cannot, John, at any point have the kind of mental lapses that we've already seen, and we're just about a little over halfway through the first period. Both of those have directly led to goals moments after the mistakes are made. If that continues, you could have to assume that evidence is already in that Edmonton is going to capitalize. They just have that kind of skill. There's really no room for error.
No, there's not. Again, I thought that way going series. I didn't want to try to be too proactive for Edmonton or Vancouver one way or the other, because I think most people would say, hey, this could be a 6-game number 1 seed. They've been good in the Pacific for a long time, but we already know what it is. We've seen it over the years. Yeah, this is probably their ceiling. They might not get past the Western Conference Finals, but offense alone is going to get them through a couple rounds.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, and it looks like it's going to get them through this round at this rate. That's sort of what has been on order today thus far. Boy, I think, listen, regardless of the fact that the Edmonton Oilers have doubled their lead to 2-0, I think the recipe remains the same for Vancouver. Look, they were trying to get one. You wanted to tie it until just a few moments ago prior to this media timeout. You still want to get one. You have almost 5 minutes here, right? As Skinner heads to the bench, he's talking to his goalie coaches, maybe a little equipment check. But either way, the Canucks always going in for a little nasal. No, it's one eye drop. I thought it was nasal spray. He's getting a little eye drop. You got to be able to see that puck clearly. So Skinner's staying prepared. But Vancouver got to get one here before we hit the intermission.
Can I give the eye drops to everybody else on the Vancouver defense? Question mark.
Maybe Skinner wants to be a pal. Maybe he's going to pass it down the bench and let those guys take a turn, because I think they need it. They're seeing their lives flash before those eyes right now. The Edmonton Oilers just capitalize on every mistake.
I did want to mention this too. I didn't get a chance to cover the series between LA and Edmonton. Again, they outscored the Kings in that first round series 9-0 on special teams, so either shorthanded or power play goals. And they already have a 1-0 advantage on that side, but 2-0 on the scoreboard here. And guess what? Number 97 is back out there on the ice. Evan Bouchard will spin this back around. He'll try to make a play off the backhand, and Silovs about in front of him, and now McDavid's got it. Oh boy, this is now back around the left side boards. Here's an opportunity to guard, stutter step. He'll take the wrister. Good save, Silovs. And now an opportunity for Vancouver just to get this out of the zone. They got to get here. As this is near the right side, Conor Garland, he got absolutely wiped out trying to stay on his feet. This will go to Edmonton. And off the outstretch, cleared down. Offensive zone time, about 4:17 for Edmonton. Honestly, it feels like a lot more. As this is put on the left side off the steal. There's a chance from the point. This will bounce up near the left side red line now, and Cole Back out there now trying to find it. This is loose out in front. Here's a centering pass. Picked off by Edmonton. You got Derek Ryan. You got the fourth line out there for Kris Knoblauch's squad. Shots are 10-3. Edmonton almost has as many goals as Vancouver has shots. That's never what you want to say during a play-by-play, but that's the way it goes. Some shooter. Garland gets spun around like a top again. This day Hronek puts it around the kick plate. This will be sent in again for Vancouver. Still trying to do some work in behind the net. Garland will take this D-to-D. This is nutmeg past Ian Cole's legs, and now Nikita's Dorov will have to circle back. He's already being double-teamed. This pass just gets out of the zone, and Vancouver doesn't have time for a jailbreak because they couldn't receive that first pass. Now in the left side red line. 2:45 left to go in this first. I guess the one thing that's good for Vancouver is the clock is bleeding quickly. As Cole will shoot this one. This is bounced off the outside of the post somehow. I'm not sure what that hit. It bounced back into play, back to Nikita Zadorov, and now Holloway will get this one out. We've had some mercurial bounces here for Vancouver, but they didn't get on the right side of either one of those, as Ian Cole now will take his time. So the forward, Rick Tocchet squad, and we'll look to start again here right to left. Use this one high off the end glass, and this will be sent back down now. Bouchard tries to get this one out as it's backhand near the right side dot, again, right in front of the referee, no tripping. This is Edmonton. Draisaitl, nice skate through. Draisaitl is going to get it back now. Get his forehand near the left side dot, put it toward the net. This goes up the outside of the cage. And Vancouver will go ahead and try to make that touch pass. Bouchard gets an easy steal as Draisaitl send it in. The money line right now is minus 750 for Edmonton. So again, you'd have to bet a whole hell of a lot to win anyway, because they're already assuming that this game is over. And that tells you a lot because we still got 2 more periods to play. This one's sent in for an ice.
Well, John, I don't want to be a prisoner of. Even though Vancouver got very close, and I think you're right, there was a shot out from the blue liners that came in from the Canucks, and I think bounced off the body and then off of the crossbar, maybe where the post meets the crossbar. Either way, still too zip here. But the Oilers just seem to be like they just had a little the better team by a slight margin. And I do feel like they're smelling blood here. If they get another one, this could be the game. But you know what? We could have said that about the Colorado Avalanche tonight. So I got to check myself.
No, we'll figure that out, and we'll definitely talk more about that as well. Here's a slapper. This is a big 2 minutes here for about a minute 10 clock. Garland and Boeser trying to make a pass as Pius Suter makes in Tyler Myers. He was falling down, and now sent back around out for Garland. Here's Boeser. He's going to absorb a hit. He'll try to make a pass. It doesn't go. Myers will keep it in. To the right side for Suter. Suter now right side dot. Garland will make this pass. Myers. And he's getting the puck position they need. Is Quinn Hughes. We'll send this one. Myers again. He is no stranger to shooting this puck right now. He's already had 4 chances. There's the cage now. JT Miller will send it back. He's an absolute game breaker, and he's going to need to be. We talked about some of the big prospects for Vancouver. This is sent in now on the left side boards. Edmonton escapes the pressure. They'll flip it. Vancouver trying to keep it in. There to keep the puck in. It's down to 5 seconds. Vancouver, they've had this puck in the zone for about a minute 30, and no more players fall into the right side boards. That's just going to end the first period.
Boy, John, lots going on here. First of all, boy, do I miss Zadorov being a Calgary Flame. He's such an asset. His size, he's got the skill. Is Miller of the Canucks getting into it with some of the Oilers? Something happened to Boeser. I'm not sure if he was speared. John, I'm looking at the replay here. I don't know if he had a non-contact issue. Something going on with Boeser as the Oilers casually take to their dressing room, tossing those gloves to their equipment folks. My goodness, John, close to the first period here.
It is, and again, I'm putting this up here right now because I know he always asks the question, do you guys think the Canucks can score more than 2 goals? I'm going to say yes. I think they have to. It's going to be a high-scoring game, so that's where I'll lean right now. Let's go into the intermission. Again, I'm going to preview some of these series here, but let's just do this quickly because while I have this on my mind, I looked at some of the notes that I threw in on there. So going in and visiting you around your birthday side in between November, between the 11th and 14th, whatever you can get in there. I know that's also around the Thanksgiving side, but it's also a question of schedule gets released by Gary Bettman when we can find a game. So my hope is we can get around that time to go ahead and go to Climate Pledge and see a game. Are you particular as far as a matchup that we might be able to see? Do you care?
No, you know what? I've never, even though I'm a Seattle boy, I've never been to Climate Pledge. I've been to many times before it was renovated. Of course, the old Key Arena. Was able to enjoy plenty of old Seattle Sonics games there, and it looks like that's another thing we can touch on too. That with the Kraken now being the tenants of Climate Pledge, the relative success they've had, and things looking up in the sports world in Seattle, potentially that return of the Sonics might be coming in the next few years. But we're talking hockey, and I do not necessarily care, my friend. I think any matchup would be an exciting one. And, I'm just hoping that whoever is the bench boss for the Kraken can lead them potentially to a victory for you and your boy Matty Hughes on that night.
Yeah, that would be big. Yes. We could mix both of those players' names and turn that into Matty Beniers. That'd be a superhuman form.
Wow. Yeah, I wouldn't mind that. That would be a sight to see. No, I certainly have Canucks on the brain right now, but yeah, Michigan man Matty Beniers. I hope he gets one for you when we're there at Climate Pledge.
Yeah, we can see if we can get the wings or anything else like that, but we're at the mercy of it. But in the Pacific, it could be a possibility, Cooper, that we can get an early season Flames game against the Kraken. So we'll see for that. So still shooting for mid-November. I'll get everything else squared away. So I know what she said, that she wanted to do special Starbucks Reserve again because you're in Seattle. Like an open cocktail bar, maybe some nature trails. Does that sound like a thing?
Oh my goodness, you're hitting it all. These are major highlights. So, and yeah, I know exactly where that Starbucks Reserve is. There's
Okay.
a couple of them, of course, being that in Seattle. But yeah, John, I like this. We can break. I'll what you're coming up.
Okay, so she's got that there for what she wants to do. For me, I did say Space Needle. Obviously, for me and her, it's the game as well. And then, do you have any other recommendations for me before we go ahead and switch gears back to our intermission?
Yeah. Okay. So mention them all. Give me like the top five. So we're talking trip to Pike Place. You got to see the classic Pike Place Market.
Sure.
And the fishmongers there, and then we're thinking maybe a hike or two. And okay, give me the other few that are the musts for you guys.
So yeah, the game, she wants to do the Starbucks Reserve, so we're doing that. I want to do the Space Needle. We both want to do that, and then there's a couple extra ones if you can think of.
Yeah, I mean, I think that heading on the ferry across Elliott Bay, which is the body of water just to the west of downtown Seattle, I think that's fun because you get some really exceptional views as you head across the bay, but also you can drive around to what is called West Seattle, still part of Seattle, but there's a beach out there called KI, and you get to see the cityscape from the other side. It really is
cool.
A beautiful spot, and there's some great restaurants over there, little like kind of classic hole in the wall, locals only kind of fish and chips places, little things that you might not otherwise be able to find. So that's just a suggestion for me to truly see the city from the other side. You get to see the Space Needle, see the whole skyline. It's pretty exciting.
All right, cool. Because the other thing that works out well too is because since we got everything in recording, I'm just going to go back to it and listen to it, and then when she comes back from her conference in Vegas next week, catch up with her. We can kind of checklist down some things, and then I think when we get closer for me and you for our free agency frenzy, we'll probably get closer to a schedule release, and then we can start nailing down a game and maybe just how we're getting some plane tickets and all that, because obviously we're going to pay for everything, get it all set up. But I just wanted to get some ideas squared away and get the rough draft going.
Yes, sir. And last thing before we make the transition, do you have a sense yet of? You may have told me this too, but just since we're talking about it, do you have an idea of how long you guys want to be out there?
I was thinking when I was talking with her maybe 3 or 4 days. Does that sound too short?
No, I think that's great. I think anywhere in
Okay.
that 3 to 5 day range gives you enough time to kind of get settled in, because you got the travel days, of course, but you get settled in and then get a chance to, I'll certainly be happy to play tour guide, and maybe we'll be able to grab some good food, and then you don't feel rushed. So I love it. That range is perfect.
That sounds good to me, Cooper. Honestly, I'm really looking forward to that. I can't wait to get a chance to go to a game and hang out because I just want to say hello. It's been a while.
Yes, it has, my friend. It'll be really exciting, and I've mentioned this before, but hopefully you can hear the smile on my face. I'm genuinely excited to see the Matty Beniers jersey commissioned me to get for you, that was purchased from the Kraken team store at their practice facility, will return to the state where it was born, and it will be where it was meant to be, in Climate Pledge Arena with Matty Beniers on the ice. I'm excited to see it happen.
Yeah, I'm looking forward to that. So let's talk about this game today, and then I want to go ahead and talk about the other series with you as well. So again, I mentioned and I looked at it for the first intermission, and it was all full-scale panic for the Florida Panthers and their fans as Charlie Coyle got his first of the playoffs. Pavel Zacha, another assist, and Marchand. 1-0. Again, Jeremy Swayman has been utterly ridiculous. Linus Ullmark stops 8 of 10. Swayman gets pulled after 19 of 23. And then just count it, 6 in a row for Florida as they even up the series.
Yeah, and listen, I think one of the things that was mentioned about Swayman is, of course, he has been revelatory. He's been sick. However, every goalie's going to have a moment, right, where it could be mental or physical fatigue that Swayman has relied upon and relied upon and relied upon. We've seen that many a time with the elite goalies in the league. But my understanding is that Swayman has not had a period of time where he's been relied upon this consistently, this much at stake, night in and night out. And maybe it just caught up to him. That's just maybe it was a moment where it bit him a little bit.
Yeah, and you're going to be able to have that mix, and you're lucky if you're Jim Montgomery, right? You have one of the best goaltending tandem in the league when you have Linus Ullmark and Jeremy Swayman. And no disrespect to the Maple Leafs, they battled as hard as they could. They took the Bruins to 7, but the Maple Leafs type of attack that the Florida Panthers do.
Yeah, no, you make a great point, and I think that is likely more recognizable as the reason that we had the outcome that there was tonight, with Florida taking a huge victory over Boston. I think that Florida maybe coming off of a little bit of that transition from their first round to this round, just needed to reset themselves, get accustomed to their new opponent, and I think that whatever they did to recalibrate was certainly more than enough. They look to be very focused. And I do think that Boston fans have to be shaking just a little bit here, because when the Panthers get rolling, John, really, they are one of the top teams. And I would think of Edmonton in the West. It's fitting that we're covering their game right now. And I would put the Panthers right up there with the team. You just don't want to let them get a lot of momentum.
Let me go to the other series in the East, because I just covered that game last night before we go to where I really want to stop. So the Rangers and the Hurricanes. Let me tell you this honestly, Cooper, if you're looking on the outside, because it was the first time I got to cover these two teams this year, the Hurricanes 0 for 10 with the man advantage. The Rangers 4 for 9. And that continues. This is going to be a short series, isn't it?
Yeah. Listen, and I will always reference what the New York Rangers looked like a couple of playoff years ago. Of course, it's a different team now. It's a different time. But the Rangers are still in this period franchise where their window is wide open. And that is thanks in large part to the play of their goaltender. But when you have, John, it's the playoffs. It's the NHL playoffs. What matters most? Yeah, okay, sure. Yeah, you need to be solid at 5-on-5. Okay, you have to make the right coaching decisions, right? We want to have the right line changes. When are we double shifting? Detail you want, any fundamental you want. However, the two pillars, goaltending, special teams play, the Rangers have them both.
They do. And again, you had Igor Shesterkin, playoff high 54 saves. And again, I almost had a heart attack because the last, minute was cut away from ESPN to the Stars and Avalanche. And Shesterkin, I guess, made about 3.5 saves, but shorthanded, and we got a little crazy. I didn't get a chance to see it all. And then in the double OT, he goes ahead and stands on his head. Look, I understand you got Rod Brind'Amour, who's a fantastic coach. I'm not suggesting anything happens or he goes anywhere. You brought in Jake Getzel, already got a couple goals for you. But if you're the Hurricanes, and I know we can say this about any team, you've got to stay out of the box. 10 opportunities for them, but 9 for the Rangers. I mean, if you can't keep that under 3 a game, I don't think you have a chance.
No, it's pretty simple. And I mean, listen, this is a game we're still talking about it going into multiple overtime. So you can see how razor thin these margins are, right, John? But still, it comes down to those mistakes. It's if you give your opponent enough rope, they're going to eventually take it. You might escape once, you might escape 3, but eventually it will come back to bite you. And the Rangers, to their credit, it was, not the most gorgeous goal game winner, but they were in the right place at the right time because Carolina put them in the position to be.
And I will say this, because I'm going to talk about the Avalanche and Stars for it quickly, but Pasternak must have a granite shin there because he took a pop from Tkachuk, and then he bounced back up and gave him a few punches in the face.
Oh, yeah. No, we're getting here on the from the Panthers and Bruins scrap tonight, and I do mean scrap. But, yeah, no, Tkachuk is certainly out of the pasta with his, I love this, his second career fighting major, and apparently he was prepared. I mean, maybe he's doing something behind the scenes. Who knows, because he took a shot, but he's a hockey player. He came right back.
I see it near all his right eye. That's a heck of a scrap there. So let me start here, and this is not to throw crow to anybody because I understand we all pick everything. We got our brackets. I was just talking with you and Alec before we did the 3 a couple days ago, and I said, hey, you guys are going to lean Stars. I understand how good they are. They're like one of the best teams in the Western Conference, one of the best teams in the NHL, honestly. And Wyatt Johnston has been absolutely ridiculously good. He's only 19. All I was thinking was the last series when Nathan McKinnon was just interviewed by Emily Kaplan. Honestly, Cooper said we got humbled. And then we made some changes in the offseason. And this group, Jared Bednar, we feel comfortable. We're ready to go again. Hockey. That means a lot to me in that quote. It struck out in my brain because the Dallas Stars, 3-0 lead at the end of the first period. And honestly, Josh Manson, it might go under record here for Jamie Benn and Josh Manson, but Jamie Benn falling down, making a play, 5 seconds left. If Josh Manson doesn't block that shot, it's at the end of the first. The Avalanche might be done, but they weren't buried. They scored 2. They come back tight early in the third, and they finish it off in overtime. 4 straight for the Avs as they take game 1 on the road.
Yeah, I mean, John, an absolutely huge victory, and one that has to solidify their belief in themselves. I think, look, I wouldn't love to be a fly in the locker room and hear the discussions that go on. But when you're sitting there down by 3 goals, you know what I always say? Somebody said something to someone, and I have to think that it's the McCarrs and the McKinnons of the world saying, we're not letting this happen. Last year, we were sent out of the playoffs by a team that has only been in existence for a couple of seasons and had never been in the playoffs ever before. Something that you and I called, which was a very exciting moment, memorable for the Kraken. It was wonderful. But you know what? Not if you're a member of the Colorado. Not if you have an expectation like Nathan McKinnon does that he wants to be in the final and win it every season. That's what the greats focus on. And when they're not able to do that, you have to reassess. Boy, did they not only do that in a macro way, John, in a big, they had to do it in real time. And Dallas has to be thinking to themselves, okay, now here is our opportunity. Can we reset? Because I think it was pretty clear they thought that they had that game in the bag. Everyone in the world did, except for the players wearing the cerulean and blue. And John, they came back with a huge 4-3 win.
Yes, they did. And did you know that the Avalanche also in that game had a span of 12 minutes in which they did not have a shot on goal, and yet they still scored 4 straight? So here's the deal for me. I understand what you can say on the other side, and Cooper and I can talk about it, and we'll just mention it now. From a 2-0 deficit against the Vegas Golden Knights. However, I will say this. The Vegas Golden Knights at times looked like they were struggling for offense. Again, you got the LTIR special. I get it. You got Mantha, you got Hertl, you got Stone, some other pieces. Mantha didn't even play in that series, honestly. But they were moving pieces in and out. And you're not doing that. I understand how good the Stars are all the way across the board. Rope Hintz, Wyatt Johnston, Jason Robertson, absolutely fantastic. Match up with Nathan MacKinnon, Mikko Rantanen, and Cale Makar. I don't care how good they are. Those are the three best offensive players in the league.
Yeah, it's wild. It's wild to think that that they have separated themselves that much, but John, they have, and they deserve that kind of lofty air. They can take over any game, and I think every fan and every opponent knows that. And Dallas was served that meal in short fashion. I think they again really thought they had taken care of what they needed to take care of, and MacKinnon and his friends had other ideas, and it's going to be very interesting. It's kind of a classic narrative here, playoff narrative. How does Dallas respond? Will we see something like the Panthers did, where what they did tonight, or will we see the Colorado Avalanche really start to continue to put their foot on the gas pedal away from maybe a shell-shocked Stars team?
I know we have just a few seconds before the intermission. I can flip the play-by-play back over to you, but I do want to ask this critical question because I got to get your thoughts. So Stars came back from 2-0 against Vegas. If Stars go down 2-0 to the Avalanche, then got to go back to Ball Arena. That's a whole different beast, correct? That series might be done.
Yeah, I think of everything that we're watching, that would be the one where I would say if Dallas goes down by 2 games, to see them coming back in that series. Because, and look, I'm going to take it from you, and I'll throw it right back to you in a really friendly way. You don't have to be Mr. Nice Guy. I'm picking the Stars over here, and you called it the revenge tour for the Avalanche. Man, did they get some revenge? And I think they're going to want to get more of that as they continue.
Yeah, I'm going to see what happens on Saturday when I jump back into that series. I wanted to make sure to hit everything else before we jump back on because it was a lot of the Stars. To it, I really think the Stars have got to answer, and they got to do it tomorrow, really. 9:30 on TNT. That's game 2 at American Airlines. I think they won because when the Avalanche go to Ball Arena and then you start playing all the small things by Blink, I mean that's pretty much you could wrap it up at that point.
Yeah, I think so. I think when you get those Avs fans get the pop punk, it might sound like happy poppy music, but that could be the bells. Stars.
Do you want to take this play-by-play reluctantly because I know it's not your favorite teams?
Hey, you know what? I'll take it with a smile on my face, my friend.
Okay.
I will jump in here as we now have the puck dropped at Rogers Arena. It is the second round of the West. Game 1 here. John Mott is going to jump on here as Cooper Hopkins will take play-by-play in the second period. We're now 15 seconds in, and the Vancouver Canucks are going to skate this one out of their. And the Canucks will actually come up with this puck. Nice pass around to the New York Boards. It goes back to the points. Canucks looking to cycle this thing. They've had some good periods of zone time, John, and we'll see if they can continue that in this second. But they need to get more shots to the net. And, of course, they are down 2-0. So getting those shots into the netting is going to be at a premium. Now the Canucks drop this one off the blue line. It's going to be shot from distance, and Skinner put to work right away. He snaps his save of the second stanza for the Oilers netminder.
And who is it? Nikita Zadorov.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And I love that call right there. Take a shot there. I think he was looking for Boeser with the tip. That one may have just avoided his stick blade. But, Nikita, he will show that offensive flair.
Design, as you said there with Boeser. Rick Tocchet immediately trying to get traffic in the eyes of Skinner. And again, as you said, more shots. I could not agree more. We'll see if Vancouver can at least try to draw this within 1.
Yep, you're absolutely right. And John, they are going to do that immediately. You spoke it into existence,
Wow,
my friend. There is a goal on the board, exactly what the blue, green, and white flag fans at Rogers needed. Less than a minute into the second period, it's now 2-1.
Dakota Joshua was in that first round. That's his third goal of the playoffs from Ian Cole and Elias Lindholm. So we are getting one of the Flames on the board here. Lindholm able to win a key draw as Nurse was trying to get this traffic out in front. It bounced off the backboards, and Joshua, the first one to it, he cleans up the mess past Skinner.
Yeah, boy, John, I think he, you know what? He pulled a bit of a draw, scored several goals in his career, deliberately bouncing them off of a down-and-out goaltender. I think that's what Joshua was looking for right there. Is now the Canucks right back to work. A left pad save by Skinner, and Canucks are in possession in the O-zone once again. But now it'll be picked up by the Oilers. Man, John, Howard there, my friend, like a warlock. You say it, and it happens on their lucky seventh shot. Vancouver with their first goal of the game, and now Skinner pressured there. Nice forecheck by the Canucks, but the Oilers will come up with this puck and skate it out of their own zone. But now it's off of a skate, 2-1 the other way, and it will be back checked right there, pass across, getting picked up by Hughes. Hughes sends it over to the trapezoid, now skated down to the near corner. Canucks in possession here. My goodness, John, the Vancouver Canucks. Somebody said something to someone, and they look like a different team. Now, there's a pass right through the blue paint with now 30 seconds and counting of ozone time, but it looks like close here as the Oilers intercept a centering pass and floater the puck back to neutral ice. One of the linesmen has to dance out of the way right there. Canucks are going to make that an offside by just a hair. So we'll get a stoppage. 17:57 to go here, 2-1 Edmonton.
Well, I can say it now because I agreed with you in the points in the first intermission about Vancouver and their plays toward the net and just trying to find something. And now that they actually got that result and they get the immediate pressure at the start of the second period, this game might start to break wide open a little bit, and the Vancouver Canucks are right where they want to be.
Yeah, they certainly are. And the Oilers, they looked solid tonight. However, when you scored on that early in the second period, you got to reset yourself. And so now with 4 shots already, just over 2 minutes into the second, 4 shots for the Canucks, 0 for the Oilers. Until now, as the puck is backhanded awkwardly right to the netminder of the Canucks, and we got Corey Perry down, multiple bodies down, Holloway standing over the top of 2 players down in the crease. My goodness, John, I thought there was nothing going on there. All of a sudden, it's Edmonton's first shot on net in this period.
Yeah, no surprise. Corey Perry is in the scrap of everything, but for Silovs, as Perry tries to make a move, he's falling down in between 3 players, and Dylan Holloway almost got a freebie.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. Silovs did a good job right there to spot that puck out between his defender's legs, just dive and cover that thing up to get the face off. So now we go with that face-off that I just mentioned, and it's going to be won cleanly by Edmonton. The puck is behind Silovs right now, and Edmonton tries to dig it out. They'll be unable to do so. Puck loose at the near boards. It's touched around back to Vancouver in their own trapezoid. Now an angle pass right here is going to be off the stick blade, and it's tapped all the way into the Edmonton zone where it's chased down by the Oilers and sent caroming around the boards, and there it's going to go all the way to the Vancouver end with Holloway trying to chase it down. Now Susie, he's down on the ice again, former Kraken, as mentioned by John in his play-by-play from the first period. Kraken, there now I'm going to pretend it's the Kraken in the playoffs. It is the Vancouver Canucks at home taking on their rival, the Oilers. And this one's sent in, nice dump and chase right there by Vancouver. It will be picked up, however, by the Oilers and Ekholm. And the puck at neutral ice now, where the Canucks will take over. 16:45 to go here in the second. Cooper Hopkins on play-by-play for the moment, along with the master, the bespectacled John Ott, as Skinner has an awkward time with a dump in. And John, we're going to get a penalty, one I have not seen in memory, where Skinner has played the puck with his stick outside of the trapezoid.
Wow.
And that will be a man advantage for Vancouver. Unbelievable.
Well, I guess this is what happens when we take the both of us out of retirement, isn't it? When we call a game, we see things we've never seen before.
It is true, John. I will be completely honest. I have never seen that penalty called, and it is an excellent call from the linesman.
Yes.
That puck was well outside of the trapezoid, and it was poke checked when the puck was beyond that red line on the near board side. Skinner now will have a penalty. And John, I have to be honest, yeah, there it is, finally. Okay, so Brown will serve the penalty. They have not put that up on the score chyron, but Skinner will be charged with the penalty by Brown. 2 minutes. John, I'm not even sure what that penalty is labeled. I'm not sure what to call it.
Yeah, they don't have anything labeled right now except Connor Barnes sitting in the sin bin. So too many men against the Canucks, and then a puck outside the trapezoid for Stuart Skinner. Now Vancouver's already scored. We'll see if they can tie this thing.
This is a huge moment here as the Canucks will come away with possession. It's now down to the near boards. It's taken right back to the blue line. Now skating into the top of the circle, the puck is deflected off the skate right there, and it's out to the neutral zone. Boy, the Edmonton Oilers get lucky right there. Vancouver could have probably kept it in. Now they're going to skate this one thing in with speed. There's a shot right there, puck bouncing. Skinner couldn't hold on to it. Now back to the near circle, all the way back to the blue line, still onside. Hughes sends it across. It's picked up right there with 1:25 to go in the Vancouver power play. And unlucky for Vancouver off the skate. Pass, and that one will be picked up by the Canucks captain and skated forward now. The Oilers looking to put on some pressure, doing a good job at the as pointed out by John. That is the killer whale of the Northwest, the C for Canucks on their jerseys, and now the Canucks skate this one in. Good. Right to the other side of the Canucks see it, and they get back as the Oilers try to come through. And boy, there's a nice wrister right there, and not held by the Canucks net line to Hughes as he skates this one forward. And here come the Canucks into the neutral zone. Jumped off right there to the near blue line corner. And it's in the again, John, I can't believe this, in the trapezoid where Skinner played the puck illegally. Now back to the top of the point. Cycling here, dumped back off. Another partial break. Who's got it? It's going to be driven in the forehand, looking for the wraparound. John, I believe that was Janmark, and he tried to wrap around. Good job at the last second for the Canucks to siphon him off to that near-sided point. Now, here's some trouble for Silovs. He's got to get control of that puck, and Hughes will head to the bench, and that will be the end of the power play. Odd sequence there where the Canucks almost had a shorthand on goal. It ended up not even being a shot. But that was one shot for the Canucks on their last power play. And, of course, nothing doing. 2-1 Edmonton. Now, this one's going to be skated out by the Oilers. Brown. He is now out of the box. And the Canucks will come away with it behind their own goaltender. Pass, but bounces off of a Canucks stick. And back to the Oilers. They get possession. It's held right there by Kulak, former Flame. I'll mention it anytime an Oiler for many seasons now. And it's at the far boards. The Oilers are now in the O-zone, going to try to establish some offense here. They haven't had much of it. Boy, a silly play right there. That puck just left in between his skates. That one was by Draisaitl of all people. I don't know if he just whiffed on a pass or forgot where he was, but that was picked up by the Canucks. Down into the neutral zone. Picked up here by the Oilers. As I think both teams trying to just recalibrate a little bit. 13:30 to go in the second. Cooper Hopkins alongside John Ott on this call tonight, game one of the Western Conference second round matchup between Edmonton and Vancouver from Rogers in BC. Now this one shot from an angle from the far boards at the top of the circle. Boy, it's tapped by the Canucks right back into their own high slot. Will be knocked away eventually and chased down for an icing. So we get a break here, John. What do you think? An interesting sequence or two in that power.
For Stuart Skinner, you kind of wonder if he'd be chasing ghosts trying to play the puck for the rest of this period, but I think Edmonton did exactly that goal from Dakota Joshua, is push this the other way and then now force a couple bounces out in front of Silovs. So Vancouver's immediate pressure when they got this first goal of the second period, that seems to have evaporated right now.
No, you're absolutely right. And my goodness, as we restart point blank that was turned away by Silovs, and I mispronounced his name earlier. I apologize for that. I'll get back on it. John's got me with the pronunciations tonight. So we have, after that icing, some extended shifts now for these Canucks, but they are able to dump down to Skinner, who intelligently plays it between the goals. This one's going to be chipped in as the Canucks have gotten it changed. Puck rattling around behind Silovs now. It's sold, and the Canucks will start their breakout. They're going to go right down the center of the ice with a nice two-zone pass right there. The pass looking back for, I believe that was Mikheyev. He couldn't find it. Now the puck will find its way back to the neutral zone. Picked up at the Rogers Arena logo, and right on. Can't see the number right. Not sure who that was taken by, but the Canucks did get that shot on. And now Joshua, the only goal scorer for the Canucks, he skated that one back toward the blue line. The puck now loose. It's going to be chased down by the Oilers' Darnay. And the puck's in front right there. Skinner turns one away. And the Oilers are going to sneak this thing out. It's been tough. Canucks doing a nice job on both ends of the ice in this period. Looking a little stronger than they did in that first one. They gave up 2. They cut the lead in half. And the shots are now almost the Oilers 11 for the home team. Now the stretch pass for the Canucks is going to be rattled off the glass. It's to Skinner's right. And the Canucks now, very nice forecheck right there. They are going to look to possess, but can't do so as the Oilers pick it up. Nurse trying to chase this thing down, looks to poke check it around. It's rattling. Now Garland chases out the Canucks home. The zone, I almost said Flames. That's just in my brain from childhood. John, you're going to have to be on the rails here. I don't want to fly off the handle. But the Canucks now, with 10:55 to go in the second, unable to possess in their offensive zone. It's shipped forward by the Oilers, and they look to chase. Now Hughes with that C on the upper shoulder of his sweater. Fast, but it bounces off of the body. And none other than Conor McDavid. Boy, first time I've said his name since I picked up the play-by-play. He takes it in, and there is a centering sauce pass that's easily plucked out of the air by Silovs for the stoppage.
So Ekholm, again, he was not afraid to drive the bus there from McDavid's pass. I've already seen him go out there. He's already had a chance where he's hit the post. So Mattias Ekholm offense, they don't care who goes up there. Once McDavid is going, everyone else is a full send up the ice as we go to break.
Yeah, no, John, it's there's a lot that we could talk about here as we hit this media timeout. This is an interesting period here. We're about halfway through the second, so almost halfway through regulation. Both of these teams have showed real strong moments.
Yeah.
Luckily for if you're an Oilers fan, there have been fewer for Edmonton. But the Canucks have looked like I would say a stronger team in this period in general. Would you agree, or do you think that maybe that was just a flash with them scoring in that first minute of this period?
No, I do. I think that was an answer that they had to have, Cooper, because, again, we talk about it at a situation where Edmonton scored again and made it 3-0. This might have been a game-over situation. That was a much-needed response for Rick Tocchet's squad. My only question, again, you just throw it back to me, but who is going to take the sand in the hourglass here? Because right now this game feels like it's up. The momentum swing is bouncing both ways.
Yeah, you know what? And I'm going to do this just because it's my. Now, obviously, I almost. You may have heard the consonant form in my mouth. I almost said Flames. I used to cover Calgary with you, my friend. But I am actually looking for something more. And how many times did we say this when he was wearing the flaming C? I'm looking for something more from Elias Lindholm, right, John? I'm not saying that he has to be a hero here, and nor has he looked at in that way by his teammates. But I just personally, selfishly, would love to see him step up here, maybe get that tying goal.
And really, I'm just going to say this honestly to you. Okay, you got JT Miller, Elias Pettersson, Elias Lindholm, and Teddy Blucher. You're telling me Elias Lindholm is only on the third line?
Hey, that's just the reality right now. But that doesn't mean, now, listen, I understand it's going to be some reduced ice time. Doesn't mean you can't contribute, though, am I right?
No, you can. I mean, you're going to also use Lindholm in a penalty kill role. You're going to have to use him on some power play time. I mean, they traded him, and they gave up good assets to Calgary to be able to do so. So, yeah, you're in your rights to say that he's got to step up and make a.
Yeah, so let's see what number 23 in blue can do here. That'll just be a number we have our eye on, and we are back underway here as we get a look at the ozone time for both teams. Almost 8 minutes for the Vancouver Canucks and about 6.5 minutes for their counterparts. And now, John, we have a couple players tied up here. My goodness. Ekholm's stick is inside the helmet strap, John, of Joshua. What more are we going to see in this game?
We're just getting everything. They wanted us to come out of retirement for this. We've seen two things that we've never seen before. I literally have never seen that, my friend.
This is outrageous, John. And that, I thought, okay, once we cut through it from the ESPN feed,
yeah,
Ekholm's stick entered Joshua's helmet from the blade side. It did not enter from the butt of the stick. The entire length of the hockey stick went through and past. Every time we do every game, John. Every time. It's crazy.
I felt like I just had phantom pain in my right ear.
Oh, yeah. That no matter what, even if it didn't draw blood, that cannot feel good. Now, here's McDavid's line on the ice, and the Oilers were looking for a nice centering pass right there, but good job by the Canuck defense to make back to the neutral zone. 9:55 to go here in the second. And Skinner, again, I think he's going to be on his P's and Q's all night when it comes to putting the puck behind his cage. And this is going to be an icing here. I think that the Oilers were looking for a stretch pass, and shaking his head right there is Bouchard. So he missed his target, and we'll have a face-off to Skinner's right or left.
So we're looking at this right now in real time, and I'm just shuddering a little bit for Dakota. Joshua was like, hey, what do you want me to do? I got the mouth guard there. They're trying to rip it. He goes, no, I can't rip it that way. You're going to rip my ear off. So let's just calmly get the linesman and pull this one back here to save me.
Yeah, I mean, I love it, my friend. This is what makes it fun. It's what makes it memorable. We have two things that, after, especially for you, of all the hockey you've seen, two things we've never seen before. And there's a great shot in from the blue line right there by the Canucks. That was deflected very accurately. It just goes to the left side of the post. So now after that icing, McDavid's line been on the ice now for approaching 2 minutes, and there is a pass that goes between the wickets. Unfortunate for Kulak. He couldn't handle it. Now McDavid and company will finally get a change, at least a partial change. Shots are now even at 12, so low scoring chances here. I think this is going to end up being a high-scoring game, and we have another icing. So the Oilers are a bit out of sorts here as they're going to have to defend in their own end.
Small thing for, as you said, though, with icing it. Connor McDavid, he's a little bit gassed on the end of his line. Even though he was a little bit gassed, about a minute 48 shift, almost still blew past that pass to Kulak. That's on the edge of his shift, and he's still turning on the burners.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And so if there's McDavid with 8 shifts and 11:38 of ice time, expect those things to balloon. Although he has no shots right now, you don't want to see that change if you are a fan of the blue and orange. So now under 9 minutes to play here as the puck caroms out to neutral ice, and the Canucks are able to get this behind Skinner. Worth noting here, 7 game for the legend, the obvious future first ballot Hall of Famer Connor McDavid, and that counts both regular season and playoff contests. He's played a lot of hockey, and I know he wants to get a big trophy, the most coveted in sports, the Stanley Cup. And if it were me, I would say, sorry, pal, not going to happen this year. But we'll see. He might have something else to say about that. Now the Canucks fighting for possession in their offensive zone. At the far boards is that puck, and that shot comes on to Skinner. Big 74, turns that away with the paddle, legally this time. And it'll be skated up by Hronek. He takes his time looking for a pick-out pass. Immediately that thing pinballs off a leg. And again, we're going to talk about these shots here, even though they're even. That's because the Canucks have 7 in the second. 2 for the visiting Edmonton Oilers. Now stepping in with a wrister and a bouncing puck that just goes to the right of Skinner. That was off of one of the Oilers. The Canucks doing a great job right there. Skinner can't find the puck. He's looking for it between his legs. The Canucks on top of the Edmonton goalie right now, and now the puck is in the near corner. Bouncing out of the way is one of the linesmen. That could have been played by a high stick by the Vancouver Canucks. Either way, it's going to be skated the opposite direction by John into the back of the net from the blue line, and it is 3-1.
No way. No way. You just had Sam Larry, the former Maple Leaf and Blackhawk, trying to make some good pressure out in front for Stuart Skinner. That, again, as you said, he's trying to go ahead and find this. You're telling me we're going to go full scale the other way. Cody Ceci unleashes the clapper? That's almost not fair if you're Vancouver.
That's insane. And at the other end of the ice, John, Ceci almost put the puck into his own net. And he comes down and he fires a 95-mile-per-hour rocket past the netminder wearing blue, my friend. And out of nothing, it is 3-1. It looked like Vancouver was, and they were. And we now have 7:30 to go in the second. I'm going to have to recover. There's my voice. And the puck is right in front of Skinner. It was in between the legs of I believe it was either Garland or Miller, 8 or 9 for Vancouver. Either way, he was in the slot near the crease. Couldn't get a shot off. So it's 3-1 here after a huge turn of events. 7 minutes to go. Cooper Hopkins alongside John Ott calling this crazy game with all sorts of things we've never seen before. 13 shots apiece. And man, oh man, the Canucks fans at Rogers Arena must be stunned right now, my friend. But coming up that near board side are the Oilers. And there's a shot on, and it is underneath. Oh, John, I cannot believe this. Silovs lets this one go.
No.
It's Hyman. It's Hyman, and it's 4-1. This is getting out of hand.
No, you're kidding me. You can't have Cody Ceci, and then Cody Ceci's not on our bingo card. Zach Hyman definitely is. If you're Silovs, that one's going to stink. It's 4-1 now. You have that pressure. We talked about it in the first about how it could be game over. Now, after those 2 goals, if you're Rick Tocchet, I don't want to just be mean to the youngster here because he's already got a shutout. He's been good in the series, but that's got to be saved.
I mean, John, I apologize to the listeners for first of all, did not expect that to go in by any stretch of the imagination. And that's just a standard hockey entry.
Yes.
Pass from their own blue line by the Oilers. Hyman picks that thing up. He skates it along the near boards, and he was allowed to walk into the circle. He shot that thing from the dot, but John didn't even have a lot of heat on it, and it goes underneath the lifted left pad of Silovs, and it is now 4-1. What a stunning turn of events. And excuse me, here's another turn of events with the famous green men here in Vancouver. One of them is doing a handstand. That's maybe the last chance, John, for the Canucks to turn the tables here. They are going on the power play. I'm not sure exactly what the call was, but I believe it's Brown going to the box, and it will be a man advantage for Vancouver when we come back from the timeout.
Yeah, as I'm looking right now, he does have a hold against Quinn Hughes, so he's in the box. And I'll say it to you right now, 6:36 as we get the commercial break, and those green men will never not be funny. But holy cow, those are a couple saves that you got to have. Again, that's a slapper. I'm not going to say Steve Yzerman in the playoffs, but I mean, that was almost from that distance. And I thought you said it perfectly with Cody Ceci. You allow him. And I'm not sure if it was the lack of velocity on that knuckle puck that beat Silovs, but that 5-hole was the Red Sea there. That can't happen. And now Vancouver has to score here to save things.
Yeah, it's really starting to wobble. Things are getting away from the Canucks quickly. And I also have to point out, I think that Myers of the Canucks, who was basically had the responsibility of checking Hyman, who was coming into the zone, didn't move his feet. I think there was a weak poke check attempt at the end, but he let Hyman come all the way in from the red line to the near circle face-off dot and still get the shot away, basically completely cleanly. Now, the fact that Hyman didn't get all of it, maybe, John, you're right, and moving laterally from left to right to get the pads down, but you got to think how many thousands of times have goalies made a save on a play exactly like that. I mean, you do that in practice every day, and to let that go in, especially, I believe it was about a minute or 90 seconds after letting a howitzer fly by you. I mean, this is it's starting to get a little ugly for Vancouver.
Yeah, it is. And again, as we said right now, you just said it. They got the opportunity. They got to score here.
No, they absolutely have to. And on the ice is Elias Lindholm, Hughes, JT Miller, Boeser, and Pettersson. Potential goal scorers here. There's talent on the ice for the Canucks. They're going to get this face-off to Skinner's left. 6:36 on the clock, and the Canucks will gingerly win that face-off and hold possession here, as it is now immediately deflected away. Of course, I eat my words as it's taken by RNH, and he's going to try to put a little pressure on. And good job. What a great forecheck by. I feel like the Canucks, the Oilers are smelling blood a little bit here. It's RNH doing all this work by himself on 3 Canucks. And the Vancouver squad's going to have to figure this one out as they try to break out of their own zone. So 30 seconds already gone in their play. And they are turned back at the blue line. They're going to have to get back to neutralize here, reset. Nice job right there. Good back pass to the far boards. And here comes that one saved, and that was Elias Lindholm, former Flame. He had a good opportunity right there, but Skinner with the right pad says no. So it should be 15 shots for Vancouver, 14 for Edmonton, but what matters is it's 4-1 Oilers. My gosh, 105 here on the power play, a must-score situation for the home team. Now they have Hughes fakes that slapper, goes with the slap pass. Now the shot So good pressure right here. They look for Pettersson again. Stick, and up into the netting on the near side. We'll get a stoppage.
Man, that was an absolute freaking bullet for number 40 there. Elias Pettersson, you want to try to get him going. He was open near that right side dot. He was looking for that top right corner, and he almost pinged it.
Yeah, he certainly did, and I'm glad we got another shot right there in the high slot, and I wish he would have done a little more of that chance. It was turned away pretty simply by Skinner. But either way, 45 seconds to go here for the Canucks on their power play. And this one will bounce out to neutral ice, picked up and skated in by Pettersson. He taps this one down to Lindholm. Now Lindholm from the top of the circle has back pass right there. There's a shot for distance. Skinner can't find it. Puck bouncing behind the net. Going to be picked up by the Canucks once again. Boy, they're having trouble handling the puck here. Got some bouncers. They are able to keep possession. They're going to skate this one forward. It's down to the face-off dot, and now Skinner lunging forward, looks to cover, taken away by the Oilers just in time. Boy, good job by the Canucks to build some pressure right there, but it's turned away by the Oilers. Now less than 10 seconds in the power play for Vancouver. Skating 1-on-3 are the Canucks. That was Suter carrying that one in, and now it's going to be taken to the far corner. Suter with it once. Now the power play has expired. They have 2 shots on that man advantage as the puck goes back to the far point. It is now intercepted by the Oilers. They're going to look to get this thing out of their own zone. They do so, but the puck goes a little far, and I think, yes, it is. It's going to be yet another icing, John. So that's been a bit of a problem for the Oilers, but I guess you'll take those as long as you keep scoring, and they have.
Yeah, and again, I'll just say this. This is just on my mind, but I feel like some of the opportunities, Edmonton, you take advantage of your opportunities. That's what good teams do. Right now, if Silovs makes a couple of those saves, this is probably still a 2-1 game. And the one thing for me, though, it's 4-1. But the one thing for me is Vancouver's activity level. That has got to creep up because I don't think Skinner has been that particular. He's been bailed out because the activity level's been low.
Yeah, you're absolutely right. And now we have the Oilers who want to face off a few moments. Zone. They haven't had a lot of extended zone time, but it doesn't matter. You can get the shots behind the goalie. That's all you need to do. And with 3:54 here in the second, it's actually going to flip the other way. So we have another icing. This time, it's not an Oilers icing. It is a Vancouver Canucks icing. We said this at the end of the first period. I think that Vancouver has to get one back before they hit the break.
I do too. That's right where I'm at. And if I'm Rick Tocchet, he's probably not going to do it. But if you get the 4-2, I'm going to put Casey DeSmith in the third period and see what happens. That's just me.
Yeah, I think that's a great observation. We'll see what takes place here. But what's taking place right now is the king himself, Conor McDavid, waved out of the faceoff, so we're starting a little early. So Evander Kane will step in. He's going to take this face-off momentarily, and he will lose it. Nice job by the Canucks there. And game possession in their D zone, but that clearing attempt is going to be taken over. Worth noting here, John, Leon Draisaitl not currently on the bench. My goodness, he's back in the room for the Edmonton Oilers. Maybe we'll get some more information here as we get to the second break between periods. But for now, we have 3 minutes and 30 seconds on the clock. And the Oilers will take it from behind their own cage. That one skated out by Ekholm. Pass goes off a body, and the Canucks will take it from behind Silovs. And the puck now through the neutral zone, being skated down by the Canucks. Good job right there by DC of the Oilers. He gets bounced off the check. It's going to be taken over now. A centering pass right there by Joshua, who's been involved in a lot of interesting plays, including the only goals by the Canucks tonight. Now the Canucks have it right behind Skinner, and John from behind the net. It's Lindholm, former Flame, number 23. He cuts the lead in half, 4-2.
Excellent work there for Elias. You called it. That's what they needed. Again, we talked about needing to get production there from the former Flame. That's why he brought him in the trade. And good work in behind the cage again. That's where Vancouver's been dangerous. That is a must-get goal. 9 left to go in the second.
Yeah, and you know what, John? I tell you something. You did something that you did before. You spoke it into existence. Now, look, I talked about Elias Lindholm, but you talked about Skinner. You talked about activity. You talked about Skinner not necessarily being razor sharp, and that puck goes in off of Skinner's own. That was Lindholm looking to center, and he gets a little bit of luck right there saying, okay, let's make this a game. And the Swedish centerman, that third liner, makes it 4-2.
That's got to give you the utmost confidence, Cooper. I think we've been hitting all the right buttons here. Press if you're Vancouver, but also make sure know who's behind you. You don't want to give up any cheap breakaways.
Yeah, you're absolutely right, because the Oilers have capitalized, so it's a tough push and pull. And there's another shot. Boy, the Oilers, they feel emboldened to send those pucks in based on what Silovs has done by the Canucks. So poorly timed right there, but this would come of a huge goal, exactly what they needed. Of course, they wish it were, well, could be 2-2, could at least be 3-2, if not for that fluke given up by Silovs. But you know what? Elias Lindholm did what he needed. But he did it himself with a little help from Skinner. So we're back to it here. 16 2 goals, 14 shots for Edmonton, and the 4. So Edmonton currently doubling up their opponent. And we have 2 minutes and 30 seconds to go here in the second. And now the icing issue has become notable. Be another face-off to Silovs left.
If I'm the head coach or the assistant coach, or the same thing for you, Cooper, I think our voice would go hoarse. It's just getting ridiculous.
I know. You know what? You got the pro vocal cords here. I have not. I play muscle in some time, and I think it's showing. I'm gonna have to go get the tea brewing shortly, which I will be able to do because we have 2:20 left here in the second. But we are certainly in the zone. We are in the heat of this game, and it is a good one. The Oilers have gotten some big goals and been helped out by the Canucks quite a bit. But Vancouver trying to help themselves here as we tick down toward 2 minutes. So just a few seconds, and it'll be now the 2-minute mark as it's skated in by Kane. He looked to dump and chase and try to get that to RNH, but the puck now taken by the Canucks and turned, skated through the neutral zone. Can't find Suter. This puck to his left and leave it for his teammates coming back. And there's a shot. Skinner can't find it. That was a nice one-timer right there, John. I think that was put on by Boeser, and it may have just deflected off the stick up into the netting. So, my goodness, the Canucks trying to turn things around here.
For as crazy as this game across the board, you got 4 and I got 2, so hopefully I'll even you up in the third period when we flip back over here. But now that goal from Elias Lindholm, whether or not bouncing off of Stuart Skinner as it did, this makes it a 2-goal game. And now that last shot there from Boeser, it makes me have the feeling that Vancouver's still in this.
Yeah, I agree with you, and I think we've seen 2 things to be true as the second period has progressed. The Oilers, because of their success shooting from outside, are not afraid to let the puck go from anywhere and just see what Silovs is going to let in. And I think by the other side of the coin, the Canucks are comfortable establishing themselves in the O-zone, but moving quickly and trying to set up for good opportunities. And there have been a number of them. And there have just been some skates in the way, a couple of bodies in the way, but there have been pucks, even the one that CC almost put into his own net, where the Vancouver squad has been right around it, and I think they know that they're close.
Yeah, they are. And again, we'll have to get some clarification, hopefully going into the third period, because when you look with Leon, when he left, it was a 3-goal lead for Edmonton. You might be thinking he'd been ordering some takeout. They're going to need him for this third period.
I love that. Maybe, you know what, John? Maybe he's so confident that's where he's in. Maybe his Uber driver showed up. He had to put on his sneakers. He had to get the skates on to go outside the spot. So, because it is a sold-out Rogers Arena, so we'll just go with that and have some fun with it. But we're taking a look at that upcoming schedule, John. I know you're going to be covering some games. We'll talk about that as we hit the break. I want to make sure your coverage is front and center. But we come out of this timeout with 1:45 to play, and boy, there is Zach Hyman tonight. He's talking to his line mates. I think they know, the Oilers that is, they would love to get some additional cushion here. Some say that the scariest lead in hockey is that 2-goal lead, and that's where we stand right now. Face off to Skinner's left coming up. It's 4-2 Edmonton. Cooper Hopkins with John Ott here as we are about to hit second intermission from British Columbia. Nice clean face-off win right there by the Oilers. It's going to be fluttered out zone, and the Canucks will take over as that puck could not be chased down by Edmonton. We'll fight for possession here near the Vancouver bench, and we will see the puck slide all the way down to the Canucks side of the ice, and it's beaten right there. That's actually a great play right there by the Oilers. That icing is beaten by McLeod, but the take over barely onside. Boy, that play might be reviewed if there's a goal here. But barely onside is Vancouver. They will be dispossessed anyway by Edmonton. All the way back to Boyle. Boy, John, it's just icing after icing here. And we have an icing call with 1:04 to play in the second.
Yeah, again, Kris, Knoblauch, and Rick Tocchet. I mean, man, oh man, what can you say? You need some cough drops on the bench because we've had about 10 of these already. I did like mentioning to it with Zach Hyman. I know Conor McDavid, heart and soul, I get it. But Zach Hyman, front and center of the communication, he's locked into this one. I like that.
Yeah, you know what? It can't just be one guy, right? You can't just be wearing that extra letter on your jersey. It's going to take a lot of guys who are, picking their moments. Important. But right now, it's most important for the Canucks, A, not to let another goal in, and B, maybe they can sneak one in before we are finished with this second period. 44 go as the puck is sent off the boards, bouncing. No icing this time. It's picked up by Hughes. He will skate this one with those red cuffed gloves all the way to the neutral zone, trying to find one of his teammates, and the Canucks will come away with it. No, now it's given up, so we're going to get a 2-on-2 the other way, but wow. Don't see that too often. The puck just sort of floats off of McDavid. 97, but he was dispossessed by himself. And now 15 seconds. The Oilers have this puck. They will skate it through center ice and send it down to the near corner. 8 seconds to go here. Looks like this period will close relatively quietly. Now just a few seconds, and the puck bounces back toward the red line. 2-1 and 0s on the board, John. So we head to the room. 4-2 with the goals for the Canucks, courtesy of Joshua and former Flame Elias Lindholm. But Edmonton still leads by that 2-goal margin. Lots to come. I do think that the Canucks will have something to say here on home ice. We'll get back to it. But the Oilers are going to be tough to beat if you let them score that many times. You know what? Take you back. Since I referenced things from 2004, which is the last time the Flames were in the Stanley Cup Final, it's like takes me back to that same era, John. There's a little movie called Old School, starring a little actor named Will Ferrell, and he did something in that movie, John, where he had to perform and speaking to a microphone, and he just blacked out during that first. So I've just been blacked out for the last 25 minutes, and now I'll snap back into it and try to contribute as we continue on the broadcast.
Well, that just goes and shows me, because I already knew it anyway. But for those that are listening in, that's a true best friend and do this type of play-by-play, considering that we both lean with the Flames. So I understand that. So that's humbly appreciated as we get a chance to. We've gone through some of the plans, and let me go ahead and just give you the reset here. So Zach Hyman on the power play at 2:11 in the first from RNH and Leon Draisaitl. That opened the scoring. Mattias Ekholm, after just missing off of the left side post, he gets it back routinely after Ian Cole fails to clear. Draisaitl gets. Joshua tries to answer 53 seconds into the second. A chance in off the backboards, goes back to him near the left side, finishes it with Cole and Lindholm. Cody Ceci, a bomb from the blue line from Derek Ryan and RNH. And then Zach Hyman, again, as Cooper said, he said it perfectly, able to skate in here on the left side, gave him too much space. Knuckle puck or whatever. Silovs got to get that one, but he didn't. That scored at 13-11. Gave Edmonton a 4-1 lead from Bouchard and McDavid. And then Elias Lindholm works him behind the net. Maybe gets a little bounce off of Stuart Skinner, but you take that from the hard work from Joshua and Susie. Silovs 10 of 14. Stuart Skinner 14 of 16.
Yeah, John, thanks for the reset. That certainly sums it up. Surprising moments there, and I have to say, Canucks fans, they've got to be a little nervous because you, of course, want to maintain belief. You want to think, okay, my team's here. We haven't been in the second round in over 10 years. We're finally starting to make some moves, but this is what we were. Errors. It hasn't really come down to special teams necessarily, although they have missed opportunities on special teams. It's just the play of their who is their backup goaltender. Now you start to look at confidence issues again, and you got to think to yourself, all right, we want to believe, but as a fan, we know it's like to protect our hearts. Sometimes it gets too tough to allow yourself to believe that your team can make a big run here. And look, it's 2 periods and it's only a 2-goal game. We're not talking about a 7-1 game here or something where the Oilers have exploded. Makes me think back series only a few years ago where we had 15 goals in a game, I think, or 14, something like that. So we're not in that territory. But if you're putting yourself as a Vancouver Canucks fan, what are you thinking right now? Are you just hoping to keep it close and save a little bit of face? I know there are no moral victories. Win, or are you just trying to get out of here, seeing some positives to take into?
I'm going to go ahead and go full throttle situation where we got that second goal that you needed there from Elias. When I told you this, when you were doing the play-by-play and I had the color side of it, you got within 4-2. She loves giving up a couple bats. A youngster. I don't want to diminish his confidence, but he's also going to understand it's a business as well. Put in Casey DeSmith. I still think Vancouver has a chance to flat out not even just tie this, maybe take the victory if they can get some more chances on net past Skinner. As bad as Silovs has looked on some, should have had those saves. Skinner with the puck against the trapezoid taking a penalty with the one that bounced off a little and pretty much put it in himself. I think he's looked quite shaky. And honestly, if I'm Vancouver and Rick Tocchet, I'm going to look in the dressing room and say, hey, get more pucks to the net, get some activity. You guys have done some great work in behind that. Keep punching that button and keep working hard. We might find a way to get this to OT.
Yeah, that's a good point. And I think that part of it's going to be shot ball. Sitting right now, still in the mid to high teens in shots for both of the teams. And you know what? I think that Vancouver coaching staff is saying you got to double your shot total.
Yes.
That cannot be. We cannot have 6 shots in the third period. We cannot not have 8 shots in the third period. I don't care. I need you to find your lanes. We have plays that we draw it up. We practice for a reason. Find your way to the net. And whoever has the puck on their stick, there's going to be a time when you might not have the perfect look. Can you get it down to the blue paint? Can you bounce it around? Can you get it? Can Zach Hyman sneak one under our goalie? Well, why don't you try to do the same? At least
Thank you.
Down to the blue paint and see what happens. That's all it takes.
No, I'm in complete agreement. I'm glad that we saw that highlight package because that's what I'm saying. I know some of the Oilers fans can look at the last analysis and think that I'm drunk, and I promise you I don't drink. Whether it's the Oilers, you have your right to get to the Western Conference Final. We can only look at this series, Cooper, between these 2 teams in a vacuum, correct? Between these 2 teams. They will not play the Avalanche or the Stars until they play them in the next round. Do advance, and I think if you're Vancouver, you push that work ethic and bounce it up. And if you're Edmonton, no silly mistakes in your own end. You already have a 2-goal lead. You got Mattias, Ekholm, and Bouchard, who is a really good defensive pair. That's been a good pickup for him since for Ekholm for last season. So don't make any mistakes there. You don't have to force your offense. But for Vancouver, make some plays. And, hey, this might go against what I'm about to say here, but Pettersson can't step up. Quinn Hughes is the guy that's an absolute game breaker. If he decides to go up and make a play, one of the other forwards has to be back protecting him.
Yeah, that's all well taken. Very good points. And I think that your assessment, that's what I got you. That Skinner maybe wasn't exactly 100% locked in, not necessarily razor sharp. I think that if you're the Oilers, you can tell, right? And that's not how they play anyway. They're still going to be who they are. But let's put a little bit more of a premium than we normally do on protecting our goaltender. We're going to be defensively sound. And we can do that because we've already found success, especially if Silovs is remaining in net.
Yes.
We can puck toward the goal crease from almost anywhere, and not even, you can't assume you're not just going to rack up goals, but you can expect good things to happen. Why would you believe anything otherwise? So very interesting to see where that balance falls for the Oilers between that sort of protection, that stay-at-home defense,
Absolutely. Those are great points. And I can also say this too, with a 2-goal lead for Edmonton here. Whatever is ailing Leon Draisaitl, he has not been on the ice since 8 minutes past the second period. You're up by 2. If I'm the coaching staff and everyone else, I'm making sure that I am. If it looks like he doesn't need to come back into this game, I'm not bringing him back in.
Yeah, and I'll just credit ESPN. I think, John, we both saw it. There was from, it looks like one of their kind of GoPro cams up above the players' bench looking down the boards, and Draisaitl attempted to go and was unable really to even get out into open ice. He had to circle back after a few strides. It didn't look like he had anything that I could specify. It didn't seem to be a foot or ankle issue. It didn't look like he had a knee issue or a hip issue, but he did double over. He was resting his hands on his stick to come back to the bench. That was the last we saw of him. So, yeah, we'll see if there's any more information available. And you're exactly right. Because of what's at stake here, if you need to let him rest, if you can let him rest, absolutely do so.
Yeah, and again, I know Vancouver, this should be a long enough series to where one game's not going to make. But let's just be honest. If Edmonton wins this in 6, maybe they can do so without Leon Draisaitl, considering if Vancouver can't find their attack. They're going to need to make sure that Leon's ready for the next series, because you cannot have a situation. This is where I'm leading into now with Vancouver, with Colorado or Dallas, excuse me, where I'm leading into the next part of the round. Let's say Edmonton advances, and Draisaitl hopefully at that point in full strength. But whether it is Vancouver or Edmonton, if I'm Colorado or Dallas, I'm having some popcorn and getting a soft drink. I'm enjoying myself talking with my boys. I'm saying, really? This is our competition? We're going to need to see a lot more from games 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, however long this goes.
Yeah, I think so. And I think the way that Colorado just showed their ability to take any circumstance and turn it into not just something positive, but a victory. You know what? In particular, now look, I like Dallas. I will stick with. I got to hold my guns here. I'm going to stick with Dallas. They're going to have to show me that they can bounce back, like we talked about earlier. But as it pertains to Vancouver and Edmonton, I think that both the Stars and I think the Stars are preoccupied with the Colorado revenge tour. Are already looking, especially Vancouver, and saying, okay, we got a goaltender I think we can beat. Okay, we got a team that makes some mistakes. Okay, we got a team that's really only scoring greasy goals right now.
Right.
Yeah, I think that the Avalanche are feeling pretty confident there. And look, they've played Edmonton multiple times, and these players know each other. They know their tendencies. They know the offensive firepower that Edmonton has. But I think they look at Skinner as well and say, yeah, I think if you're number 29 for Colorado, you are thinking to yourself, boy, I can get a few by Skinner. You're definitely thinking that. So it's an interesting thought. Yeah, that Western Conference final already shaping up to be super, super fascinating.
Yeah, it is, because I'm looking at the Florida package right now, and it's from the highlights alongside Cooper. But looking at it from a couple of seasons ago, when the Colorado Avalanche won, and they called our first call in between Tampa and Colorado. That was also a sweep in the previous round in comparison to Edmonton and Colorado. Okay, and now Edmonton goes back into this and say, hey, we got Evan Bouchard and Mattias Ekholm. That is a good shutdown pairing. Other than that, you still got this same team in front of you that got swept 4-0. So again, that is why I'm Colorado, that I'm really kind of looking at the next team in the WCF as hamburger meat. I understand, as we said, in this one that we're watching today, can be nothing more than a vacuum. All we can tell you about is between Vancouver and Edmonton. But from what we see in that previous Western semifinal, I think those two teams feel comfortable. Hell, if Colorado, I'm not saying Dallas can't bounce back in the series, because I do believe that they are a better all-around team in comparison to Colorado. But still, if Colorado can come into this and put those pucks past Jake Oettinger, who did not seem to be beatable in games 5, 6, and 7 against Vegas, and that defense, then I really concerned if I'm Edmonton or Vancouver.
Yeah, no, John, that's a great assessment. I mean, you mentioning Arturs. How was that not the first thing that popped into my mind? Well, I'm not John Ott. I don't have John Ott's brain. You nailed it, and I think that Arturs got to feel if they are able to move on for the Stars. Arturs got to feel okay. I have been here before. I'm comfortable being the rock for this team. And look, I love the players in front of him. There's a lot to like in front of him, but he has become really, as much as I can tell, the heart of that team. And he knows a lot's expected of him, and he always steps into that role. So if Dallas, it's going to be in large part because of that confidence and his skill. But let me flip it now. Okay, you tell me. Do you have anything else on that thread before I throw something your way?
I just want to say, in between Colorado and Dallas, we've had some 7-6 games, some 5-4, and Colorado in the season series. The only thing I didn't mention from the last time was when Dallas and Colorado played each other. I think they played 5 times in the postseason. Dallas beat Colorado 3 times in a game 7. When Colorado won both series against Dallas, they won in 5.
Okay, more great observations. These are things that I honestly is best tonight. But this is what leads to and we've done this before. I'm not going to surprise you with something crazy here. I'm just literally looking at the box score. I'm looking at this roster.
Sure.
I'm thinking to myself, we got 4-2, second intermissions, and change of this intermission. Here's my question for John Ott. I would like, we got 2 goals. Let's assume that 2 goals are the same player. I need 2 names, John. I need 2 Vancouver Canucks who are going to tie this thing and send it to overtime. If it happens, who's going to make it happen?
Am I allowed to pick the top performer names or no?
You are. I am not going to restrain you to step into any call you want to make. You make the call that you think is the right one.
Okay, so one of these ones for Vancouver, I got to punch this button because if Elias Pettersson can't do it, someone else has to step up. So give me JT Miller. He's got to get it done. And then let me go on the other side. I'll put a lower tier name. How about let's get another defenseman or someone else involved? I've already seen Sam Lafferty get close, but give me Conor Garland. JT Miller and Conor Garland.
I love it. And John, I'm not joking. I had Miller as well. I like JT Miller. I think that he's going to get the ice time. I think he's been around a couple of opportunities. He gets into that high slot area, and he's looked at and knows that he can make a difference as a goal scorer. I love that. And I also like that pick. I like that Garland pick. I'm looking for the biggest name. I'm looking for Hughes to get on the score sheet. And look, it could be an apple or it could be a goal, but he's got to get involved, got to get a point tonight. I think if they're going to tie this game. I know we're about to get started with the third period very quickly. Let's just say, just for insurance, John, they want to get one more. They want to put this thing out of reach. Who loves a 2-goal lead? Nobody. Let's make it 3. Who's doing it for Edmonton? Who makes it 5-2?
Let me go ahead and say Zach Hyman gets another one.
Wow, he's going to get tonight.
Yeah, he's been all around it right now. My next guess would have been Evander Kane. I can't say Connor McDavid because all are A's. He doesn't even have to score.
Nope, he's just helping out his team. He's out there cruising around. He's able to do the work of goal scoring. He's exhausted. It's his 700th game. He's tired. I'm going to say, you know what? I'm going to say Mr. Scrappy himself, wearing big 90 on his chest. I'm going to say on his back, Corey Perry, I think gets one.
I like that.
For the Oilers tonight. So that's maybe a little off base, but I'll roll the dice on Corey Perry since we're talking about Stars, and I remember his time in Dallas and all sorts of things. But we're having some fun here, and I'm looking forward to your call of this third period, which is just moments away now.
I'm going to also give one of my stars to the game, or one of the green men in the penalty box that was hanging up.
Yeah, no, they have found new ways to entertain. To be in the costume, John, you got to get some gymnastics going. some. He was like in a half somersault. It was beautiful. So we're about to get back here, and I'm looking forward to hearing your call, and we'll see if the Canucks can close down this disadvantage here. As we're going to start out with Edmonton leading 4-2 as we hit the third.
As we're seeing pucks being played outside the trapezoid, sticks being caught up in helmets, pucks being bounced off goaltenders, slap shots from the other side of the blue line. I mean, we've had 6 goals. Again, both Cooper Hopkins and myself out of retirement. We do settle on the bench. How much does he play? But he is back with the boys now, and we are underway. Here's an opportunity for Hyman. This goes way up into the netting and out of play, and that's how we start the third.
Yes, it is. And you know what? Retirement. It gets me a little bit. It hurts my heart, my friend. I know we hadn't had as many opportunities this season, but I'm glad we're back at it. And, I won't step on your toes anymore, but we are back together doing our thing.
Yes.
It's been so fun so far. So keep it going. We're about 20. Back on play-by-play. I am Cooper Hopkins, and I will get your color.
And absolutely, I mean it in a fun way. Life and work and everything else gets in the way. Hell, I didn't imagine Sharks, so there's been a lot going on. And are you telling me yet another icing? I think we're about at 17 now unofficially.
Yeah, I don't think either of the coaching staff are too thrilled by this. Let's just connect our stretch passes, gentlemen. We're professional hockey players. I think we have the ability to connect a pass. So maybe we can dial down these icings.
Coaching staff, it looks like Draisaitl going to get set to go, but they're asking him again. I immediately see, are you good to get back in? Looks like Draisaitl might get set for the next shift, so that will be big. JT Miller, as this one goes back on the defensive side, picked up here for Vancouver. And along the wall, again, they're only down 2, but the way that this game has been, kind of left off at a 5-4 score line. You could still get that right now. Here's a good pass. Right in the middle of the circles, and this gets canceled off the left side pad. Zadorov will get this down to the left side red line. He's got a long outreach on that stick when you got that kind of size. Pretty much get his own dump in. That's kind of inexcusable as he gets around Cole. And Cole's not been one of those ones on the defensive side for Vancouver. I've said too many nice will change those matchups. Just had a rough night. Sometimes that does happen. Near the left. Here's a 2-on-2. Fogel. It doesn't go to him as this shot stays in play. And now Vancouver with Dakota Joshua, who's honestly been one of their better players, will get this across the in. To the forward now for Draisaitl. It's his shift since 8 minutes played in the second period. So we'll watch number 29 and see what he does. This one's sent in here too far. Stuart Skinner will go ahead and play it. And if again, Vancouver, the smart thing, they just try to take Quinn Hughes sends the outstretched pass. It was wide of the left side red line, and Stuart Skinner was flopping around like a fish. As this is picked up now here for Vancouver and sent back. Quinn, he's got the puck now, the captaincy for the Vancouver Canucks, and well deserved, but he's got to get going. They need his points. Here's an outstretched clear all the way down, and Vancouver will get an opportunity with Tyler Myers, the former Buffalo Sabre product, as this one is sent in. Again, he's still got a lot of money here for Vancouver, so that'll be something to figure out. As this is picked up now, good touch pass. I'm going to try to get it the other way. Cece didn't let the bomb go this time. Derek Ryan will take a backhand. This one goes harmlessly for whatever reason. As this one goes back down the ice. And no icing, mercifully. Darnell Nurse will flip this one in off the glass. And we'll take another line change set up here for Kris Knoblauch squad, and we will get another icing. My goodness.
Yep, John, it's become one of the themes of the night here. I think these teams are, especially the Canucks, are really trying to break out and move quickly into the here. With 3 minutes exactly gone in the third, time will become a factor pretty soon. It's not going to take that long before the clock really is the primary enemy. You got to get 2, and you got to get them as fast as you can.
You do, and Cooper, I don't disagree with any of your assessments here, but if you're Rick Tocchet and you're the Vancouver Canucks and you see 17 on the scoreboard, Shots are 17-14. I would have to figure if you just run your offense a little bit, maybe not as much chip and chase, but just the zone, it looks like Edmonton is giving you that space to do so. Just get shots. Again, we've talked about it in so many different ways. First shift since 8:12 in the second period. So we'll continue to monitor number 29. The way this game has been, I don't think they're going to need him that much. They do need JT Miller on this defensive zone draw for the Canucks. And we'll get set to do it again. So Miller's going to get a new squared circle, and this will be sent back around. And Vancouver now, off the slap shot clear. This will bounce up in the air in the netting off of Joshua. I don't think everybody was confused by that. 16:54.
Yeah, John, just want to comment on what you were, some observation you were making. I think you're right. Rush for the Canucks immediately. I think you got to get at least the next 7 minutes or so of running your offense as best you can. Draw up those plays and execute them to the best of your ability so you can get at least one before it's panic mode. And even then, still want to stay sound and just try to get the puck on net like we were talking about during the intermission.
And Cooper, I'm going to just throw this and then I'll jump back into the play-by-play, but it's 17 shots on goal for Vancouver. You got enough time to where you can realistically get between 30 and 32, correct?
Yep, you would hope so. I think that's what they have to, no pun intended, but literally shoot for.
Yeah, that's what I'm going for right now. This goes back and around the inboards now. Hyman, this goes dangerously across the blue paint. And every time they can touch this puck, Edmonton, they can kind of take some of that shot number away from Vancouver that they need. So McDavid, able to keep this one across the line now. Hyman, Janmark, he gets all turned around. Good no call there by the referee. This one goes all the way back. Not too many times, but that was right there. You can. Hughes. Now on the left side red line, here's a touch pass. Looking for Draisaitl. Again, they're looking for breakout passes when I don't necessarily think you have to. That might be the adjustment that I'll make. This one goes back to Stuart Skinner. And they took an awfully long time to let him play that without a glove. No whistle. If I'm Vancouver, he might have got one. I've seen him been blown dead for less. Here's a slap shot for Ekholm as this is rattled around the inboards. Now Fogle will watch as this is spun back around for Carson Soucy. He gets dispossessed nicely there by Fogle. Fogle now for RNH. RNH off the kick play for Desharnais. This one goes way wide in Vancouver. As this is knocked away from Silovs, this will be dumped in again, and somehow Edmonton still keeps this puck. Not really doing much right now. I feel like Vancouver's been a little sloppy. Elias, as this goes in across the red line, and a touch pass for Hoglander just bounces up in front of Orca. And now again, the Oilers find possession. Corey Perry will put this back in around the inboards. This could be a low event third period, especially if Vancouver continues to turn this over and look for the same strategy over and over again. As this is now on the left side. We'll try to find it off the spin and turn. This is with Edmonton trying to center ice line. And it'll be flipped in again. Nikita Zadorov. He gets turned around and the butterfly is Silovs. On the right side, Cole gets away from a hit. Able to get this puck ahead. Here's a wrister near the left side post. This one gets stopped by Stuart Skinner. It's loose out in front, trying to bank it off the outside of the cage. Edmonton will be the first to this. We'll chip it off the glass. Ian Cole will put this on the opposite side of the boards, and Vancouver's forwards take a change. As Cole will settle it back down. Again, the Cole third pairing. Might want to think about mixing that in game two from what I'm seeing. Elias Mikheyev now. As Skinner puts this around the embankment. This is picked off by Vancouver. It's Quinn Hughes. He'll spin. High slot for Quinn. Fires the wrister. That one almost hit the left side post. And this will go all the way back. Quinn is not all the way on the afterburners, but he will win the hybrid ice.
Yeah, it's our shot to get another ice in. But I think we're starting to see a pattern that we can define here. Edmonton is really not afraid to ice the puck often. They just want to get that puck away from their goaltender. This is what we talked about. Just protect the guy in the crease. Get that puck out of there, and whatever comes, come may.
As we said, we went into that in the second intermission. It's a 2-goal lead for Edmonton, and you really don't have to reinvent the wheel here unless you really believe Vancouver's attack's going to bite you. which we're not seeing right now. Again, the shots on goal are 4-0 in this period for Vancouver. Again, they were heavily in favor of Vancouver in the second as well, at least by 7 or 8. But all the goals were already put in the back of the net by then for Edmonton. They got 4 goals on 14 shots. Here's Miller. This one goes just wide of the right post. Picked up now as this is bounced away from McDavid and off the long flip. Good back skate. Edmonton's got it now. Try to get it in transition for McDavid. It took 3 players to knock him off the puck, but he still get this to his defense. Hronek intentionally wide. Here's Conor. Centering feed dangerous, but good stick of lane for Vancouver as they'll try to press it the other way. Boeser will go for the chip and chase play of Pasta. We'll see if Mikheyev can get there, but he can't as Hronek will send this one the other way. Edmonton might not even threaten to get 20 shots on goal, which Vancouver already has, as this is now near the left side, knocked away and off the chip and chase. It's Draisaitl. This is his second shift now. Again, he's not really skating full speed just yet, but we'll continue to watch as this is too far for Giuseppe, stolen by Cece, and then flipped in across the red line. We pick back up now for RNH. 12:05 left to go in the third. John Hunter with you alongside Hopkins. It's our first time in a long time against 2 teams. We don't really cover a whole heck of a lot, but this is game 1 of the second round. Pick back up now with a whistle, I believe. I missed that one.
Yeah, John, I'm taking a look here, and all I can see is former Flame Nikita Zadorov going to the box for a penalty to define. I apologize, my friend, but Zadorov taking the seat.
Yeah, my apologies too. As I see Nikita Zadorov, I'm looking at the play behind the net, then all of a sudden they went to Draisaitl talking about something, and Zadorov's in the box, and it still hasn't even updated on my ESPN box score, and then we're taking a break, so hopefully we'll get an update soon.
Yeah, so we have, once we get back from this break, we'll have 12:01 to go in the third period, and a couple things come to mind to see where that balance would be for the Oilers, as they, of course, sit with a 2-goal cushion here, balance in regards to sitting back and defending, and maybe trying to get insurance goal. Now, listen, when Conor McDavid's on the ice, that killer instinct, I've looked 700 games into his career here, both regular season and playoffs. I'm a Flames fan. I never get tired of watching Conor McDavid. And you know what? I know it gets mentioned, but it just bears repeating. Not only does he have the speed, not only does he have the hockey sense, teammates, crisp passing, accurate with both shots and assists. He is so strong on the puck, John. You said it. It took literally 3 Canucks just to get him off of puck possession. It was incredible.
Yeah, we see that time and time again. Again, Silovs 10 and 14. Stuart Skinner 18 of 20. Again, 900 save percentage looks good in this type of game, but see how that continues to change throughout that. But Conor McDavid, the way that this one's going, as Cooper said, you can stick handle that puck all day long. If they get what they need to, maybe McDavid can just have a B-plus game for his type of game, and that would be good enough to win this series.
Yeah, no, and I just wanted to point that out about, just what he brings as a hockey player. And as a team, though, I think we clearly see the Oilers now content, again, not fully sitting back, but not necessarily their third or fourth lines by any means, not even really their second line to do all that much when it comes to driving offense here. I think they're just trying to be responsible and keep Skinner, keep the puck away from Skinner. So it looks like, John, we're back now, 12:01 on the clock, 4-2 Edmonton, 4-on-4 will be action. Favors Vancouver potentially a little more room to work here. And speaking of McDavid, his line is out for Edmonton. Here we go.
So Zadorov and Draisaitl cross-check and a slash that offsets each other. And now JT Miller for an outstretched pass. This will be near the left side now. Miller and Boeser can definitely be game breakers, and Vancouver needs something here. As here as a pickup, it's 97, and this is a good stick play. I think maybe by Pettersson of all people to just go ahead and get this away from McDavid enough as this gets sent back down to Mattias Ekholm. And now whatever is ailing Elias Pettersson, At least he was able to get on the numbers there from 97 because it could have been a 5-2 game. Silovs has had a rough night. You don't want to give him a break against Connor McDavid. It's not going to make anything any better. As it's Hughes. Put this back now for Connor Garland. Garland now will spin and turn. Good defense there for the Oilers again. This time for RNH. They turn it right over to him. And somehow this one doesn't go in the net, but I'm not sure how. It was near the right dot. He was by himself. My goodness. As it's Hughes. He'll look to make things a little bit easier here. Maybe he should just take this himself. Out of the left side red line. Quinn's got it again. The forwards take a change. It's Elias Lindholm. This is very too cool and calculated for Vancouver for me. They got to go a little bit. This is now the left side red line. Here's a pass near the right dot. Off the spin. Garland. He's dispossessed of the puck. This is Miller. The net. They probably thought that Miller was going to go there. He did not. Here's a wrister. This goes in. Oh, it's Miller.
We called it, sir, and I need to point out you speaking things into existence. This time it took about 9 minutes and 40 seconds in this third period after RNH at one end of the ice goes forehand off the bar.
Wow.
To Silovs' left. Silovs did not even see the shot, John, and the other side, Miller with silk possible angle. It wasn't even contacted by Skinner. That was a razor-thin margin. He puts it home. It is a new hockey game at 4-3.
So, easiest goals that I've ever seen scored in one game, Mr. Cooper Hopkins.
That skill, John. I mean, I'm so glad. I feel my ego, John. We called JT Miller. He delivers, and in a beautiful way. That was an incredible tip goal right there.
That tip would make Joe Pavelski blush. As this is now, it's a one-goal game now. Can the crowd give the Canucks some energy here to tie this one? Again, I did say 5-4 going into it. If we hit all the buttons, you and I need to go to Vegas. As this is down near the left side blue line and sent back in. Silovs so clear. And now Hughes already back out there again. As this is a possible trip.
Tripping penalty coming up.
Wow, that is crazy. Near the right side, that's exactly what you can't have. And that was called as clear as day by you and me. Kris Knoblauch's got to be incensed.
Now this building is alive once again. That was actually a comment I was about to make earlier, that the crowd was just not in it. Boy, there is another super slow-mo replay. JT Miller, he is screaming, and with good reason. He puts the third goal of the night in for the Canucks. We hit a break here, and when we get back on the other side of it, John, could we really have a new hockey game? Can the Canucks capitalize? They have not been able to yet. They have to make the use of the man advantage and put one home. If they do, it'll be tied.
If you're Dylan Holloway at the 10:23 marker, what the hell am tripping Elias Pettersson there?
I have to listen. First, I need to see a replay. I have to think that may have just been an errant stick. But you know what? You've got to know who's around you. You've got to know the circumstances. I want to see the replay first, but either way, such poor timing on that. Just keep your stick on your body side. Keep it away from any of your opponents. Get out of there. The puck wasn't even close by at that point.
No.
That's just an odd play. Get the power play.
Here's the interesting part, because you and I went into this in the third period 4-2, and I think we said all the right things about the Edmonton Oilers. But okay, you got the 2-goal lead. Keep things clean in front of you and make sure that Skinner, can make the saves that he needs to make. Don't make any mistakes. Well, you give up the 4-on-4 offsetting because, again, the secondary slash, that's what's always going to be called to mean. If Zadorov gets a hit on Draisaitl didn't need to retaliate. He goes to the box. JT Miller scores in a 4-on-4. And then you take the penalty from Holloway on Lindholm. Now this could essentially be a tie game. And now what do you do if you're Edmonton, if that happens?
Yeah, no, that's a great question. And boy, yeah, it looks like, I'm not even sure, John, as we get the replay on what that resulted in the penalty, it looked almost like a knee-to-knee from Pettersson was turned with his back. And either way, he was tripped from behind, whether it was a knee or a regulation. 4-3 Edmonton. Let's get back to it.
2 for 15 this postseason on the power play. 0 for 2 for 3 shots today. Vancouver's unit's better than that. I feel like they can break through at any time. We'll see if they can do so. JT Miller, big slapper out in front. Boeser got destroyed in front of the net. That was at 90 from Quinn Hughes. As this is now near the right side boards. We'll see if Vancouver can get this back to Quinn. Wide open. One of the Canucks there off the spin and turn. Elias Pettersson will get this back down here for JT. JT now for Quinn. Quinn, high slot, back to JT. Rissick, good save there for Skinner. Might have been one of his best. As he actually saw that one the whole way. And this one sent down by Edmonton. All of a sudden now, you look at the score clock. 8:50 left to go in the third. It's a 4-3 game. Edmonton's still with the lead. Edmonton's got 4 goals and 14 shots on 22. As CC now tries to get this one back. It's picked up now for Elias Pettersson. Pettersson try to get it to Hughes. Back to Elias, only for a moment. Quinn Hughes, cross pass. Here's a wrister, and what a stop there for Skinner against Lindholm.
Oh, John, you know what? Those are Skinner's the 2 best saves he's made all night long. Elias Lindholm, he is no slouch, sir, and he is robbed with a capital R, probably multiple R's right there. That was wired for the top corner, and Skinner says, nope, not right now.
This is the pulse that you need there for Stuart Skinner. Your team's got your offense. You need to lock in. You've seen that they're starting to break a little bit. That's why you have your goaltender back there. He's got to be able to lock it down. I feel like he can do so, as this is Vancouver on the power play. It's a big one for them. Good sauce for Miller. Left side down. Here's a chance. High slot. Hughes goes for the pass. He's not shot a lot in this game. Here's a chance now for Hughes. Almost lost it between his skates. He's got to go all the way back. Again, he was wide open in the high slot. Try to do it himself, and this will clear time off the clock. Not really a decision there for Quinn. He can make it all right, though, with 20 seconds left to go in the power play. It's Pettersson. They're going to drop it here for their puck entry specialist in Hughes. Now Miller. Miller for Quinn. He's on the left side bumper now. He'll get this in behind the defense, but nobody's there. And this is going to be an opportunity for Pettersson. We'll have to circle back alongside Boeser. Boeser now makes the pass. Miller try to get it in. And this is too far across the blue line. McLeod was trying to hunt for a break. He'll get a stick in the lane. 7:30 left alongside Hopkins. It's a 4-3 game now. This game really has been entertaining. It's been very odd and quirky at times. And again, for the Oilers, penalty kill 15 of 15 in this postseason. Cross pass. That is a big boon for Edmonton because they're not known for that. This goes now to the right side red line. This is stick chopped a couple times. Picked up for Edmonton, looking for Draisaitl near that right circle. Edmonton wanted something to play with a high stick. They're not going to get it. This will just be dumped in from 100. Here's a race for it now for Tyler Myers. And this will be knocked away for Elias, as he'll try to get a piece of it as well. And on the left side red line. This will bounce a couple times and back to Evan Bouchard. 6 third. It feels like it's been a fast-moving game. That's unfortunate because I will miss the time on the play-by-play in the color with Hopkins. This is now near the left side. We'll get many more playoff games for sure. This is off the wrap. Evander Kane gets denied. And this is picked up here for McKayev. He'll make a backhanded pass for Niels Höglander. Good chip across the glass. Here is McKayev. He's trying to rush. This goes near the left. A slapper. Oh, what a goal from the blue line. It's Zadorov.
John, I don't even know what to say. I feel so strange, my friend. I'm so happy. I'm so happy that Nikita Zadorov just did that for the Canucks. And to be honest, I'm thrilled for the fans at Rogers. That was an absolute dart from 91 from almost at the blue line, untouched until it glances off of the top of the left pad of Skinner. And the green men and those around the Rogers Arena are in celebration mode. That's Nikita Zadorov's 3rd goal, playoff so far. I know he's had some runs with the Colorado Avalanche during his time and did make appearances in the playoffs with the Flames. And now the hitting is picked up as Lindholm throws a hit. Boy, oh boy, these Flames, these former Flames, they're making their presence felt. This is a new hockey game, John. It's effectively 0-0, 5:50 on the clock. You jump back in. We got ourselves an instant classic.
I love it, my friend. It didn't turn out this way again. I did say 5-4 at the end of that first intermission. We could be in next goal wins territory too, but man, oh man, trailed to enter in the third period in 2 of their 4 wins in the first round. Again, an empty net pool. Here's a rush. Vancouver! It's Garland! And we nailed it all! We're going to Vegas!
Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me, John? Conor Garland picks up the puck after having a pass in, fakes the slap shot from inside the circle, and he walks it down to a tougher angle and risks it, I believe, 5-hole, John. So is the retribution comes on the stick of Garland, fakes that slapper, and he does go 5-hole on Skinner. You called it all, John. This is outrageous.
Who started that breakout pass after scoring an unreal comeback for Vancouver? We kept saying productivity, just keep pushing. And now they have the lead. Here's a start and stop. This crowd is not going to carry this home. It's 3 goals in the period for Vancouver. They're on a run right now, and they're 5 minutes away from, I can't say stealing game 1, as this is near the right side dot, but this has been incredibly entertaining. McDavid, you know he needs one right now. He's got a ton of goal. Here is Skinner, his outstretched pass. Everybody's standing right now, waving the towels. The shot scooper are 8-0 Vancouver.
This is, I don't have another word, John. It's outrageous. I cannot believe what we're seeing, and we have been reported us from watching 2 teams we normally don't focus on, and normally I actively root against. This is I can't even find the words, John, and it's my job to find them. Of course, just in time, we have another icing, but my goodness, sir, you have called essentially every important and significant moment in this game. I am going to, and if it ends like this, I am making you, but I will buy it for you. We're getting lottery tickets, buddy. This is crazy.
Yeah, I couldn't believe when you asked me. I was like, okay, JT Miller, Conor Garland. Okay, get some productivity and chances in that. You might find a way to get some goals. Now, all of a sudden, we're going to get into our post game maybe after 4:13, and you and I are, sir.
Yes, we certainly are. But for now, we got 4 minutes here, and here come the Oilers. There's a shot right on. I know I'm a couple seconds ahead of you. The rebound could be controlled. It's skated out by Joshua. I'll let you get back into this thing.
Evander Kane and Silovs are pushing everybody away from his net now as Dakota Joshua. He's had an excellent game, and now Edmonton, as this puck goes into the players' bench, they're about 55 seconds away from having to pull their goalie.
I just cannot believe we are at this juncture, John. This is wild stuff. I know I'm not really adding any meaningful commentary because I'm so stunned, but what must the Oiler fan base right now?
Right.
What must the Oilers themselves must be thinking? They were absolutely in control of this again. I know we assign meaning to things, but that sneaky, that curse of a 2-goal lead in hockey. 5-4, the Vancouver Canucks coming out of almost nowhere. And look, they weren't completely being pushed around. I don't want to change the narrative. They were in this game. They looked prepared for something. They looked like they'd at least make a push. I didn't think it'd go beyond a 3rd goal. But here we are, 9-2. We're at our last media timeout. This has become, John, how do we keep finding these?
I don't know.
Every time you and I work together, I don't care if it's 15 broken sticks on the ice one night, then it's Skinner playing the puck outside of the trap, so we've never seen it. Then we see a player's stick caught in the helmet of his opponent. Never seen that before. John, this is starting to get wild, but I love every single second of it. It's so great.
Absolutely, man. It's always fun to get a chance to get behind the mics and call a game. Hopefully, at some point, maybe in another universe, if you believe in reincarnation, you and I will be in a professional broadcast booth doing games together, because certainly it seems to bring out the best of any of these teams that we call. And again, we went into this to probably two teams we don't cover very often, two teams we're not really fans of, and yet we really can. I can use the word again, instant classic. This was a fun game tonight.
No question about it, and there's going to be so much to talk about, regardless of how this thing finishes. Now, all bets are off except the ones that we're going to make, because apparently we have all the knowledge and luck on our side these days, and we're going to get this back from media timeout. We are inside 4 minutes to play here. John Ott's jumping back on that play-by-play. I'm Cooper Hopkins. We'll have whatever color commentary I can provide. Mostly I'm just saying this is awesome. That's pretty much my job at this point.
3:40 left to go in the third. The Oilers only have one shot on goal in this. Conor, Garland, welcome to the big show. Round 2, game 1 is Draisaitl. Still looks beat up a little bit. Now, all of a sudden, that narrative is going to completely turn if they don't find a way to take this win in game 1. When they were up 4-2, it was 4-1. As this is now sent down for Ekholm. And the crowd, again, that's their job to wave those towels and stand up. And I don't think they're going to move in the last 3 minutes and 5 seconds to take this home, because the Oilers can press. They're still trying to get everything situated. Skinner for a moment. Here is Fogle. Left side. He went for a backhand way high. The Canucks wanted this out of play. They're not going to get it. But they need to make sure they're clean in their own end. Anything can happen. This game's been crazy. Here's an opportunity. And if you can believe it, Connor McDavid has 20 shifts and 21 minutes of ice time with no shots. That is absolutely insane. Stuart Skinner will put this back and around the end boards. Somebody falls down. That was McLeod. He fell on a banana peel. This isn't Mario Kart. As this goes down near the right side, and this one's dumped in. Opportunity now. McLeod will start this one more time after just taking a stumble. The end boards, it took a crazy carom, and this one back down off the wall. This could be iced, and we'll see. Yes, we'll get it.
Yeah, and earlier lollygagging, that was the order of the day right there for Nurse. Nurse definitely took his time. He did not chase that puck down, and ultimately it had cross the red line and result in the hybrid icing. So add that tally to the icing count. But man, we're getting some replays here of the goals scored by the Canucks, and they have been so beautiful and so timely. And guess what, John? You said it again. Empty nets. We have reached that junction. 9 seconds to go in the third. Open cage for the Oilers.
Draisaitl back out there. Whatever's ailing him now. You know he's not missing this. Got to be the extra attacker. He's actually going to take this draw. He normally does a lot of that alongside Connor McDavid on the outside of the circle. They try to set him up here as it's McDavid with a puck retrieval. Near the right side for Nugent-Hopkins. Drop this back now. This could absolutely be a 5-5 game. You got to make sure you keep that net clean in front of Silovs. As it's Draisaitl, right circle. Here's a pass across. That was dangerous there from RNH looking for McDavid. This will just go back now. Left side blue line. We're going to get a frantic finish. We're going to just get everything in this game. No doubt about it. It is buffet style. As it's McDavid off the stick shot back from Hyman. Try to be the first to get to a good cutoff there for the Canucks. Job's not done though. As it's Draisaitl. Right side red line. Cross pass again.
Yeah, John, it's now getting down to it. We just have a little bit of time left. The Oilers got to get there. Who would have thought they'd be in this position? Just wild.
Absolutely. You could not have foreseen it. Again, as much as I'd like to say that I've called everything because it's on the official, only I could have just thrown that out of wild air here.
Yeah, no question about it. And we're going to get this face off to Silovs right, and I'll let you get back to it. Looks like we have Oilers possession.
Draisaitl, get this off the tie-up. Go back to Bouchard now. Are we going to get a 5-5 game? We certainly could. RNH, he's pasted. Pretty good work there for Vancouver. and they will shovel this down the ice. Icing. 1:05 left remaining in the third. It's been an absolutely scintillating game, although it did not turn out that way. But Vancouver really the screws to Edmonton in the third period. We'll be talking about that Conor Garland goal forever. Here's a chance, RNH. That goes wide on the right side of the in. Here's McDavid. Touch pass. Does not hit the stick of RNH. Down to 40. This goes back to D now. Bouchard wants it. He'll get it in the high slot. Take the wrist shot on. This gets blocked before it ever hits Silovs. As we get down back to 30 seconds. Here is an opportunity for Vancouver. They will get this with the Zadorov. Good chip off the glass. Able to send this one down. 20 seconds left to go in this third. Here's an opportunity. McDavid. Drop one up block. It's loose. Vancouver now trying to get this near the right side dot. Here's a one-timer for Draisaitl. That goes wide. He was in his office. It's still loose. McDavid now gets it set up to the screen. Near the right side. Draisaitl down to 2. They're going to run out of time. And the Vancouver Canucks take game 1 with an improbable comeback.
I still cannot believe it, John. I cannot believe I am watching the Vancouver Canucks celebrate a Game 1 win right now. This is truly one for the ages. These are the two teams that my beloved Flames are rivals with. They're primary rivals, and I am felt really left out that we missed this one, my friend. And it was another classic for us, but boy, it is going to go down in legend for the Vancouver Canucks. I know it's just a game 1, but man, oh man, does this speak volumes about what they can do in beyond. You pointed out that huge block at the end. The Oilers created multiple amazing chances for themselves, but the Canucks put their bodies in the way. They literally put their bodies on the line. They protected their young goaltender who had a shaky night, and he came up big when he needed to. There was a blocker save in the last 90 seconds. And it is a 5-4, as predicted by John Hawks. 5-4 win for the Vancouver Canucks at home. And their Orca mascot celebrates
I love
their
it.
Orca logo, waving an Orca flag at center ice. What a finish. We just remember forever. Wow.
Yes, we will, Cooper. Again, I didn't mean to say 5-4 or JT Miller or Conor Garland when you all asked, but we actually hit the ticket. We got them all. And then Vancouver, I just can't believe it. We talk about it. 3 unanswered goals in that third period. Dare I say, before I a couple more minutes, but Edmonton honestly felt like going into that second period, if Elias Lindholm doesn't get that goal and it's 4-1, Edmonton probably could have sleepwalked through this thing. That was a gigantic goal for Lindholm. And then the theatrics, that Conor Garland special, fake slap shot 5.
Yeah, that was to have the calm, the sense about you to make that decision. Listen, we've watched a lot of hockey. You know, hey, we all have opinions, we have thoughts. You know, it's the Jonathan Huberdeau approach of just shoot, please just shoot. To let that slapper go, and if he had, I would have completely agreed with it because he was inside the circle and would have been able to probably put 90 miles per hour on that thing, even in stride. But you know what? He decides to cut down the angle even further, get Skinner moving, and in that lateral movement, he tucks through the 5-hole. That kind of expertise is why we pay the big bucks to see games in person. It's why we tune in. It's why you and I do this. It is exciting when it happens. And man, oh man, it happened multiple times and in major moments for the Canucks tonight. The Oilers and their fan base have to be deflated and, if nothing else, just simply stunned, John.
Absolutely. And if you're Vancouver and you're part of that team and that fan base, you got to be proud of the effort there, because I don't care where it comes from. It's a completely different series to go between Nashville and then go against Edmonton. And know that Vancouver's been able to do that throughout the regular season But in that series against Nashville, I don't think that they were going to be able to play that way because they were just too good on defense. When they really needed it, they found it, and that's pretty incredible job. And again, that team's got to feel really good going into game 2. I hate to close it out this way, but I want to ask you this. I know the Draisaitl injury, we're going to have to continue to monitor it. Boy, that's going to be huge now because Edmonton's now down a game. But Arturs Silovs, we talked about it. I mentioned throughout the play for a 750. Didn't have a great start, but when they needed it in the third, he did not give up a goal. On the other side, Stuart Skinner gives up 3, 19 of 24. Who do you have more confidence in? I know it's a difficult question to ask. Silovs or Skinner?
Boy, you know what? And I'm going to say this because of what happens when your team comes to play for you.
Sure.
And that is what the Canucks did for Silovs in the third. They said, you know what? We're not going to point fingers. We're not going to feel weighed down by some mistakes that you've made in the crease. And he certainly did. Silovs did let in, if not 2, that he really should have found and made stops on. But his team, no excuses. No, in fact, it was the exact opposite. They used it to fuel themselves, and they found a win. For that very reason, I have to say that heart in that young 3 sizes, I think he's going to feel more confident in his own game. You got to feel more comfortable in the sense that you are able to do your job and your job alone and forget the mistakes that you made. The Canucks are going to be able to move forward with a smile on their face. And Skinner, even though we pointed out, and you said it first, pointed out that he was not 100% dialed in, I think that shakiness is going to potentially get even worse, especially just after getting beaten. The way he got beaten by Zadorov and Garland on a howitzer from outside that found its way to the net. And again, Zadorov, there's his offensive prowess, a perfect slap shot, finds the side netting, and then Garland to make that decision and simply be better than the goaltender. That makes me worry about what Skinner's going to bring to the table in our second game.
Agree. That's why I asked you. So, Cooper, again, thank you for this instant classic, memorable game. I don't know how we continue to do this, but yet we do. We got our plans laid out. So when my cousin comes back from her trip, I'll get scheduled back in with her, see what she says. We'll get everything squared away. I'm so looking forward to November, but I'm also so looking forward to the new future for future playoff games because I know when we get into the Stanley Cup Finals, that's where I bother you the most. But hopefully you can both be back in the driver's seat.
Yeah, listen, we are after tonight for sure. I mean, I don't care what I have to move. I don't care what plans need to change because we got back into the zone right away, my friend, and it's like we were never on break. So this has been fantastic, and I can't thank you enough for always organizing things and getting ourselves set up and ready to roll. I am just that. I'm ready to roll. Let's keep in touch. We'll reach out and get ourselves lined up for another game. And maybe we have to keep our bar realistic. I don't know if we're always going to get an instant classic, but who knows? Maybe we'll get some more goalies playing the puck outside of the trapezoid just for fun.
Yeah, we will. Friend, you have a good one. This was so much fun, and we'll talk soon.
You got it. Thanks a lot, John. We'll be back on the mic very shortly. Thanks, man.
See you. Everybody on the YouTube side, if you didn't follow across, you missed an instant classic in between the Vancouver Canucks, Edmonton Oilers. It's been a while since Cooper Hopkins and I worked together, and then you just jump back into a game like this. I don't know what else to say. It just continues to happen. And if you had the bingo card, because he asked me in that second, I need to see score goals. He said, give me 2. And we actually got JT Miller, Conor, Garland, and oh, by the way, former Flame Nikita Zadorov. So if you're on one side of the coin, I know it stinks right now for the Oilers. They got to bounce back in game 2. If you're the Canucks, you're on cloud 9 after this. And I don't think I'll be going to sleep tonight for a while. We'll see you guys soon. Peace.